As the team moves into the next stage of their adventure, they more or less questioned a questionable man after inquiring about what exactly is the other guys doing. Why did they attack one of your own? Ultimately, you got the answers that you, well, asked. Well, you got the questions answered that you asked. Whether or not you remember what these were, that is up to you to remember. I am not going to be, the guy that keeps remembering or reminding you about everything you've learned. But I will state that you learned who they're working for, who's funding them, really, who's the guy that is currently hiring him in his own group, as well as how they plan to track them down, which was through you guys. You get one free one. Besides that, you decided to split the team to collect some more feathers to harass the maybe not evil, but mercenary that has been hired to, do a certain job. They offered you to work together. One of you being Finder, asked what's in it for you guys, and he just explicitly told you he won't attack you anymore, as well as potentially can help you finish your own mission.
Not good enough.
Yeah, apparently. So it was repeatedly asked, no, but what's in it for us? He said, no longer attacking you again, but no, really. So you guys just left. To potentially discuss it with the rest of the team, I don't know. Honestly, I don't think so, based on what was said. But I could be wrong. I can be wrong. Who knows? And Plazo Death. I don't know why you said your name that way. And Jemmy went to go and explore the city nightlife as well as enjoy their time. At the very end of the night, Finn and I believe it was Win. Yeah, Finn and Win discovered someone that was looking for detailed information. Stuff was spilled on them, and then they left. And everyone met up tomorrow morning in Section 9, because I think it was very late in the night, and I don't think everyone would be, at work at such an hour. So we find ourselves, after a good long rest, back at home base. Also, today would be the day when Wynn's hairpiece gets finished, as well as Section 3 main group returns.
Hairpiece? Is there some sort of hair loss we don't know about?
Not what I mean. But Ramon does state, based on everything I've received, unfortunately, they are not exactly giving me clearance to acquire some information on the things that we are looking into. Unfortunate. However, from what I've learned, Section 3 has returned this morning, so they can be discussed with if you decide to head that way, Miss Wynn and the rest of the gang.
All right, that sounds great. Thank you.
I believe Wynn said she'd take the lead on this because the rest of us are unsociable. No.
Well, I don't want to say unsociable, but
I would. I'll do it. Unsociable.
Yeah. All right. I don't know how long we're going to be talking to Ramon, but if everybody's going to start going over to Section 3 or whatever, I'm going to kind of pull Ramon aside to have a little quick conversation.
Yeah, he just gives you a brief recap of the mission at hand. You have a few days left before the Featherfall event does stop within the city, so the time frame is limited to the next 3 days to try to track these things down.
Mhm.
So, good luck. etc., etc. You pull Ramon to the side.
Yeah. Got a quick question for you.
Yes.
I think there are some people who have an unhealthy interest in me lately. And it's been brought to my attention that maybe Civ of all people might be able to provide me with some useful information. How approachable would you say that Civ is?
On a personal matter or perhaps business-wise?
I'd say mostly personal, although this is a problem that could potentially interfere with Section 9 operations if people intrude at the wrong time.
If it is business-oriented, it is very easily to, as you put it, confront her in some way, shape, or form. If it's not and it is personal, then she really doesn't get chummy unless you know her already. Not to say you can't, bring things into personal work, but she prefers not to have that happen.
I think that helps.
Yes, just, I suppose, walk on eggshells and you should be fine.
I had a feeling it'd be something like that.
Quite right. But, she can be found in the surveillance agent's headquarters if you decide to seek her out.
I just might do that a little later. Of course, for the time being, better help with this mission we've got going on here.
Yes, of course. He gives you, detailed information on how to track her down. It's literally an office down the hall. Can't miss it.
Okay. All right, I'll hurry to catch up with the others.
Do we know where Vega is before we start all this conversation?
Vega decided to go back home. He can be there if you want. He just wasn't about you guys potentially pulling out nails.
We didn't do.
The
I never
vague
actually
threat
said
of
that.
pulling out nails.
I never said that. That was actually him twisting my words. I said at least we're not doing something like pulling out your nails. I was trying to say we're being nice guys. He's the one that twisted it.
No.
The way it sounded and was suggested, Finn, it really sounded like you were saying, at the very least, we're not pulling out nails, suggesting a vague threat.
Well, how else are you going to separate two pieces of attached lumber?
Boo.
Remove the screws. Which in this situation is us, the police officers. Boom.
It is a fine idea to turn the screws. That won't be
Anyway,
misinterpreted at all.
call it what you will. At any rate, they took it as you guys vaguely threatening them, which, to be perfectly honest, you did attack them.
After we got stabbed.
There's a difference between, Actually, that may or may not make it worse, depending on the person you are, because you just more or less admitted to being more violent after the first assault happened. But, that's just me being petty. Section 3, where are you?
That's a perfectly normal response to violence.
Like in the immediate, yeah.
And trauma.
On our way, I'm gonna
depends
ask,
on
"Oh,
how
did
long."
the feather hunting go?
And
Anywho.
I did try to kill Finder twice.
Oh, the
with
feather hunt
poison
went really
backstab.
well.
So how many did you snag up?
Two.
1, 2.
It's like, allow me to count them.
Yeah,
One.
it's like we got.
Two.
Didn't we get like 4 or 5?
I think the last night you got 4.
Yeah, the first night you got 5, and then the second night I helped you with 1, and you got the other 3.
Yeah. Last night I was able to get 3.
I did give you the 4th one.
Yes, he did give me the 4th one.
So, sounds
So,
like quite. Oh, go ahead.
so we had 4 altogether.
Sounds like quite the eventful night.
Oh, it was. It was really fun. You should have came.
Oh, maybe I should tomorrow night. I've missed out on that twice in a row so far.
Yeah. Oh, and after giving some to my parents, I have 5 feathers left, so I'm able to give to the kids.
Oh, I'm sure they'll be quite happy to see that. Really quite interested to see what they do with them. They're not your ordinary children, that's for sure.
True.
Well, I can think of a lot of things that they could do with it, but I don't really know them that well, so I can't really guess.
Oh, when you meet them, it's pretty hard to miss that they're not your average child. They're definitely got a lot of potential.
Well, that's great. I bet their parents must be really happy.
At least when the magic missiles aren't flying.
Concerning talk as you enter inside the area. Uh,
Yeah.
Do I
Yes.
see Ember?
yes, it's not that hard to find. Although the area itself is massive for reasons you're not fully aware of, but you do see a giant creature in the background. He is standing while he's discussing with his away team a few things. He does notice you as you enter inside, waves you forwards, and the last bit of conversation you do hear is, yes, but other than that, I'll make sure that that is taken care of. But this is the person I was speaking about.
Hey, Ember! I wave and jog on up.
Yes, Miss Wynn, it's a pleasure to see you again.
Yeah, it's great seeing you too. How has everything been since the last time I was here?
Good. Currently busy, after the new finds from the team. More or less, he does state, but let me introduce the captain. And the man to the left of him, does move forwards. Pleasure, to see all of you.
Pleasure is mine.
I suppose. What brings you here? You seem like new faces. They're from Section 9. They are here on a request. What can we help you with?
What was that forest name again? I'm horrible with names. I'm sorry.
The Evergreen Forest.
Oh yeah. Me and my team are planning we have a mission, and apparently it's going to take us into the Evergreen Forest. And well, we all know how dangerous the place can be. So I was wondering if you guys have any materials from there that that could help us find a way to get through there safely. Is the gist of it.
Oh, I see. I'm assuming you're trying to do this through back channels rather than through standard paperwork since you're here in person.
It's not so much that we want to, it's just that there's a time crunch. You
Yeah,
understand
and-
how paperwork goes.
Yeah, and I always thought if you have something to ask in person yourself. If not, it'd be really rude.
Fair enough. A simple yes would have also sufficed. I understand the necessity of expediency.
Yeah, and plus it was such a nice day out. Why not go for a little walk, right?
Right. You can tell that this man isn't heavily strict, but he's also not willing to easily give paperwork out. Like, this is research he's discovered, research his team's discovered. It's unfortunately bureaucracy at its finest. However, he's not, a mean dude. Go
That's why we're putting a good foot forward first.
Yes.
I might point out that some of the information we're looking for might result in some information you might find of particular use.
Such
Yeah,
as what?
I did talk to Ember about this, that if we're all working in the same organization, so let's help each other out. It's if you hand over some research that we need about the forest, and while we're in the forest, we could gather some new info for you.
Have you heard of the well deep in the forest that has some magical properties?
Not at all. No one has ever gone that deep before. And if you've already, I suppose, discovered something this new, I suppose we could take that information and work with what we have. Although if you already have gone that far, I suppose you may already have more than we can give you.
We do not possess its exact location, but it is our intent to move through the forest and stop there along our way, and we would be happy to provide you with its location upon our return.
That would be interesting information. And while you don't have exact knowledge on it, it doesn't seem like you're lying to him. You're obviously not lying, but he doesn't know that. And it
He
would.
believes.
He wants to believe. Win,
So
go
can we-
ahead
So can we please work together on this?
and roll persuasion. An advantage thanks to Finder.
And not because I said please, right?
Unfortunately, not.
May the core eye help your endeavors.
Hey, what's the one in the middle doing? Casting some sort of a spell? No.
Oh, you gotta be
Oh.
fucking kidding me.
Oh, wow.
What?
That's a statistical anomaly, even though I said that
No.
incorrectly.
It's 1 in 200.
No, that
1 in 400.
that can't happen. Guys,
What is this?
guys, I am so sorry.
That's illegal.
You can try to add the D4. It might make it less
It's still
of a failure.
this
Walk
this
away.
guy hates us. Yeah.
Dogma.
I'm gonna cast some expert guidance on myself and try and renew my little tactic.
Dogma, there has to be something. Come on, man.
It's
This is-
not like a
No.
complete failure. I'm going to see what Jemmy does, and then I'll tell you what happens. Jemmy, go ahead.
Well, there's a little bit more too. I mean, you're familiar with the annual Feather Falls, correct?
This
I'm
is
new to the
true.
town, so I forget the name. Well, it is something we're investigating, and we could definitely make sure that, once we've returned from our mission, our first-hand accounts find that information finds its way directly to you.
This is information that is needed, but at the exact same time, it is not information we need. And unfortunately, Jamie, that is not exactly something they truly want. It's like good information, but it's
Yeah.
not their division.
Yet, it's not information you need yet. Wouldn't you want to be prepared when you do need it?
We just have no current need for it. We are underneath bio engineering, not an event within the city itself. Still,
well, it's
though,
not the event so much, it's the mysterious creatures. This is some new biology that nobody's really laid their eyes on. We could be talking about maybe samples of these creatures, not just the feathers.
so you hereby state that upon given information, you will be giving samples, direct samples, potentially a live specimen.
We
If
will
at all
certainly.
possible.
Asterix.
All right.
Yeah.
Based off of
If-
everything I've heard, this is all just hearsay, especially after that little outburst from Mr. Looks towards Finn and Finder. So here's what's gonna happen. He puts down a jotted piece of paper, writes something down. It is essentially a contract. We will provide the information that we currently have on how to get as far as we've been able to get through the forest upon a given live sample of the entity that has dropped feathers within the city's ley line system itself. Not ley line system, I just couldn't think of area of the city.
Fine
Simple
live sample.
and clear cut. A living organism with the feathers that have fallen. We have collected some samples of those feathers throughout the years, but a living specimen would be beneficial to them not disappearing all the time.
I'm afraid we simply cannot guarantee such a thing as you are unable to provide us with the information that will require us to go at least as far into the forest as we must.
That is what we are discussing, Mr. Looks towards you,
Finder.
Mr. Finder. We will give you the information on the request that you get us a living sample. You will receive the information if you agree to these terms. So you can do it. At the very least, you'll have the possibility to do it. If the contract is void or failed, your section will receive a penalty, and a potential sum of money will be retrieved from their own stipends. Due to
And
breach
you're
of
not
contract.
at all interested in the rejuvenative properties of the well? Your contract says nothing about its location. Might we negotiate a different contract that for a sum of money in case one of our contracts falls through?
How about this? Either a living sample or a sample of this magical well that you have just stated is now magical. This is making it harder to believe you, Mr. Finder.
We have a source in the forest who says that the winged riders themselves rely on it for their passage through the forest.
Right.
The
Does
only
that
thing
seem
stopping
more...
us from confirming this is being able to get out there.
We will send in one of our men with you. So if it is dangerous still, one of our own may face danger and harm.
We intend to go through the forest. Is it the intention of your operative to leave as soon as they have their sample?
Their intent would likely be to make sure that we receive our payment. But if you do need the assistance, I'm sure they wouldn't mind assisting you.
And does our fulfillment of the request end when we give the sample to your operative?
Once
is
it's
it-
been sent and makes it back to this location, otherwise, what would be the point?
Simply understanding where the responsibility lies.
The sample must make it back here intact to the laboratory. And let's say it stays intact for a minute. So afterwards, and if you leave the room, it's no longer your issue. If it somehow, let's say, implodes on itself.
And might
I
I
might
recommend
suggest-
you furnish your operative with a bag of holding in case the water of the well is subject to light or air damage?
We are not going to go willy-nilly. They would be prepared. I'm not sure how
Oh,
your
my-
team does things, Mr. Finder, but we are a well-oiled machine. Jimmy, go.
Sorry. Oh, I think this operativist accompanying us is a fine idea, but I suggest one other clause, perhaps, is that if your operative agrees that we have located the sample, but there is, for some reason, it is impractical or perhaps otherwise impossible to bring the sample back, and he is satisfied with that reason, that might be the one exception to bringing it back. For instance, I mean, suppose this creature or creatures is, I don't know, the size of a 6-story building. It might be a little bit impractical for us to throw it in our backpacks.
This
You'd
is
already
sounding
got him
more
down to
and
water.
more
We'd
like
already
you
got
want
him down
things...
to water.
It's too late, Finder. This is sounding more and more to me like you only have assumptions, clues, and no actual information behind you. So here's the thing. I now don't trust you at all explicitly. You need to pay them by either this information, a living sample of the beings that have been dropping feathers, or this magical water. If payment cannot be fulfilled, the contract will be void, and a statement will be drawn out from your Section 9.
Magic water it is.
Or a living sample. At this point, I'll take
Sure.
either. I honestly don't trust either of you. Miss Finn, Miss Wynn.
Oh, no,
looked at-
we don't have that kind of relationship just yet. Oh my god.
Now, supposing we bring back both.
Miss Wynn
We've done enough.
and Mr. Finder. I'm sure you'll figure these things out. And Mr. Finn, I don't have any real issue with you. You haven't tried to negotiate. We're fine.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Kind of sheepish.
He lays down the contract, pay him with a living sample, so the beast, or a beast creature, or the magical water that Finder has just recently stated is magical.
I hope it's not just really clean spring water, but
Who signs the contract? It will be the fulfillment of the team that, fulfills it, but the, signer needs to actually sign the thing. He signs it underneath his section.
can we just make sure everything's above board and this isn't a ridiculous contract?
It's not. It's basically, if you don't fulfill your end, he takes a lot of money from your group.
Right.
Not your group specifically. Not he
Yeah,
takes-
Section 9.
yeah, which,
And if we don't do this in the next 3 days, Section 9 gets shut down from lack of funds. So, I mean, fuck it.
potentially. They will get hit with penalties, but that's outside of funds.
Sure. Well,
It's not a good thing, but you'll have the information needed.
But basically, if we fuck this up, no more Section 9.
No, they'll just have to really work with tooth and nails and anything else they can find.
Like, are we talking about bankrupting Section 9's? Like,
With this deal, no. But if you mess up the entire mission and this deal, probably.
Well, I guess we should do our best not to fuck up then.
Finder's been here the longest. He'll sign.
You sign, and he looks towards Agent Autumn. Autumn, do you mind retrieving the documents for them? Of course, sir. Goes into the back.
Sorry.
No, go for it.
Oh, and I have a question, if that's all right.
Right.
Would you happen to have any living flori samples from the area?
We do have a few that have been preserved.
Would it be okay if I take a look at them? Dealing with them could actually give me a solution to get through the forest itself.
That is part of the information we are giving you.
Thank you very much.
Right. Autumn comes in with the documentation. There's like 3 binders full of them. That's the first one. Comes back with another set, 3 more binders. That's the second section. And comes in with just 1 more binder. And that's the overall view of the catalogs.
Autumn, was it? Thank you.
Right. Karn does state. Right. I suppose I don't really know your group that well. If there's some specific assistance you need to accomplish this, you can request it, and I'll have one of the agents that has the ability to do so. Otherwise, if you don't really care about that, I'll assign one to you at random.
We literally need how to avoid the poison and toxicity of simply being in there.
That
Also,
would be the
some-
information I just gave you.
We need to go, like, today.
Right. All right. Your best bet will likely be Agent Eula. Eula? Yes? Do you mind going with this team? I suppose I can have your delegated work be assigned to Mark and the rest of the gang. Hold on, why me? Just saw you first. You're like right next to her. I suppose that's fair. Sure, of course. Happy to accompany you all.
This is concerning. Okay, Eula, how do we not get poisoned?
First, you need to read the documents, but if you don't, I suppose, bother with it, I can get things done for you. You just won't be able to do it yourselves.
How long did we think, out of character, it would take us to get through the forest? Or at least to the point where we think they're touching down, which we definitely got Vega to give us a map of that, right?
No,
Versus,
because that was not the question you asked. The question you asked was, where do the Ring Riders go after they leave the forest?
Actually, we did get directions to the well.
You were
There's a
given like
spring.
vague directions to the well.
vague direction as it is. How long do we think?
If you know the area well, which you don't, it would take more or less a day and a half. If you don't, 3 days if you really mess up.
Then we gotta go now.
Yeah, I thought Wynn was able to help us with that with her. I mean, a ranger would have been better, but
only-
she's right there.
It's like only if I, have the time to actually do proper research. That's what the whole thing about coming here was.
Yes. With the information you have, when you look through the information, Eula did state, I can do it for you. You just, I guess, won't have the information, but if you need it, it's in the documents we just gave you. She gets her gear, gets the stuff she needs, and then she hands you each a potion. All right, don't take this right now. We do need to take it while we make it to the compound in the forest. Once we go there, we must then uncork it, rather. The current fog system that is in the area will then mix in with the potion substance. Then we drink it, consuming it, not giving us full immunity to the environment of the poison and status effects we will be facing, but we will have a better resistance to it. It is not permanent, but it is better than nothing. And if you do have a general direction of where you need to go, that'll at least save us in potentially trying to get back out of the forest.
How many days worth of this do you have?
I have 2 per each of us. No more, no less. I'm literally using the provisions for our own team.
How do we make more?
It's in the documents. You can read them.
Win, perhaps you'd like to.
Yeah, when. Well, we literally just got these. I need time to actually sit down and read them.
We can spend that time, but your friend here, Finder, said expedience is of the importance. I suppose you can read it while we move forwards.
We won't have the ingredients we need.
Yeah, it's like we still have a few days before we even need to go.
How long will it take you to specifically find the ingredients we need and read about?
Finder, it depends on the ingredients.
The ingredients aren't that hard. Just the way of making it, which is the most difficult part. If you want me to do it, you can pay me. If you want to learn it, it will take about a day. If you read it through the documents precisely, I can give you general guidelines on where to find it.
I do agree that time is of the essence, but why don't we give Wynn the day? I can assist her. I am skilled in both nature and arcana, and we can leave bright and early tomorrow morning.
I say we find the ingredients today and then move as soon as we have the ingredients and learn how to make it on the way.
Sure. She was getting all her gear ready and then still has it on her, but it's less rushed.
Then what's the point of giving me all of this?
Because we
It's like we wasted a lot of time when we just could have asked them to help to come with us and assist.
They weren't here.
It's up to you, Wynn, how 2 points right now.
Well, if I wanted to take a day or so I can go through the notes, do some experiments, and find a real way to combat this environment. And now Finder says we can just do it the other way and just rush in. I'm really confused on what the whole plan is now.
Yulin does state, I as well. Do you need time to go over things? If you do have time to delegate to the research, I can wait. If expediency is needed, I do have potions in the immediate, but I will not have ingredients for more.
I was hopeful that we could acquire the ingredients today, and during our next 2 days, while we had potions at the night or on the march, we could read, or Wynn could read, the
It's very
instructions.
It could be very difficult to read and learn on the march, especially if she might need reference materials or some specific piece of equipment for preparation. I understand the reason you are in a rush, but perhaps rushing too fast would make us ill prepared.
How about this? Eula states, I help Miss Wynn, was it? Help you study?
You can drop the whole miss thing. So formal.
This is a formal contract, but sure. Wynn here, I can assist you with studying. And tomorrow we can gather what we need. My assistance was to make sure that these things worked properly, as well as provide you with information and potentially help you out in combat if that arises. Not to teach you, but I suppose, it wouldn't hurt your survival rate.
Well, thank you, Yuva. And I turn to Finder. You gave me this opportunity to help out and make sure we stay alive during the process as the best as we can. So let me do that.
So long as we do not get lost or accosted in the forest, I'm sure the information will be well received.
Oh, one thing before we left section 3 was I wanted to go ahead and specifically take note of the person we were talking to or made arrangement the contract, specifically taking note of their appearance and everything. Also, I wanted to also note what happened to the contract like after it was signed. If it got put anywhere. I imagine probably gets stored in some sort of cabinet or something, but just seeing if it got stored somewhere while in our presence.
Roll a d20. Higher than a 10, maybe.
All right.
He rolled it up, put it in a tube, and then held it until you guys left.
All right.
So it's in a tube.
Mm-hmm.
You did see the man though. That's not anything you can't do. He was a 7-foot tall man, highly built stature. What's it called? Frizzy hair due to climate and making sure that he was out in the field. His actual clothing was actually fairly dusted since he just came back from an actual work area. And his attire is that of an adventurer, but also businesslike. So it's easily able to deduce that he was the leader of the Section 3.
Mm-hmm.
You have full details other than, I don't know, what underwear was he wearing? Boxers.
Yeah, I don't need that much detail, I hope.
Yet, you never know.
You never know.
Well, too bad Sigvald's not here to seduce him if necessary.
Mm-hmm. Sigval's doing his own thing in the meantime, getting over a cold. Uh, in game. Out of game, getting over sickness. In the meantime, though, when Eula, you guys spend some time studying up, she does teach you. She is not a bank of information. She doesn't have to give you information. She's just helping you learn. So, Win, go ahead and roll for me either Arcana or History, and you get advantage.
They're both a
Is
plus
there any
one.
way to give her guidance or help?
You did say you would help out with all this too.
Yeah.
May the core I be with you.
I would have laughed with the ones again.
Oh my god, I would just quit campaign.
That's fair. 17 plus 1, that is 18. While you don't have everything memorized, you are able to pick out ingredients and things of that nature. A lot of them would be through your own parents, because they own a botanical garden shop. A lot of them are also chemicals, which you can find in the laboratories you guys currently work in. You will have to pay a sum of 100 gold, but you can get all the ingredients for 1 potion apiece. And since you have the list already, you can get the ingredients again at another time. Or you can... no, they would only be able to do max 2 potions apiece, which would be 200 gold for the ingredients alone. But the way of making it, that would be another check. When, if you want to learn it or teach someone else, you're more than welcome to. But it would be an Arcana check.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind learning it and see if I can use this as a base for an approved version. Is that possible?
It wouldn't be possible in the current form it is, because you're just learning the base form. You can improve on it later down the line. You just need to, be able to produce it to begin with. So yes,
question.
but in the future. Go ahead.
Question: if we get the materials we need from my parents, would there be a discounted price?
It depends on how business oriented your parents are, but you are also their child. Roll persuasion with advantage.
May the core I guide you if it is appropriate.
I am spoiled.
You're a very spoiled kid. While you are an adult, they still treat you like they're daughter, very
Well,
young.
Well,
young towards them.
I still call them mommy and daddy.
Yeah, that's fair.
And
Like-
we are pure-blooded elves, and I am only 18, so.
They still treat you like a kid from time to time, and you still work with it. You definitely sometimes really help yourself to their generosity. You definitely get a discount. I'm gonna say outside of the chemicals, that will knock it down to 75 gold.
Good. I'll tell you about that. My family owns a flower shop called the Grasswing Vine. We can actually get a lot of the ingredients there. I believe my parents could give us a discounted price.
That sounds amazing.
You know what? That's a natural 20. Let's make it 55 gold. A little bit better.
How about a nice flat 50?
No. I'm doing 55 to be annoying.
Oh, god damn it! I like round number.
Yeah, I know.
I hate you. But yeah. This is gonna be good.
You do get the ingredients without too much of an issue. You find the chemicals you need in the lab and requisition them and pay for anything of access you need, because you are doing it through the work itself. you can request them at a discounted price. This is already a discounted price for work, by the way. It would have been a lot more if you didn't already work in a research and development department. Anyways, who is going to try to make it? And again, when an improved version can be made, but you first need to learn the base form.
And that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
What role is this
It
going
would
to
be Arcana, and there would be no advantage to this because it would just be an attempt. Eula can help you, but
I have a +5 to Arcana and to Nature. I can definitely help.
again, you guys can help, but it wouldn't be the help action. It wouldn't give advantage because none of you know how to do this.
Okay. But I can still give her guidance.
You can give her guidance, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and since Win wants to learn to make it, it makes more sense for her to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And if you guys do go tomorrow, you can definitely roll again, air quotes, later tonight, to attempt it again.
Okay, so you said Arcana.
Arcana.
Damn it, how come it couldn't be like something else?
Well,
Alright.
it might be Nature if it's druidic in nature. And all
If you were
things.
proficient in an alchemist kit, I would have allowed that as well.
Herbalism kit.
Is.
It wouldn't be herbalism, unfortunately.
I'm gonna learn alchemy.
You could.
I'll put that on the list.
For a first attempt on trying to get everything prepped up and set up, you don't waste any of the material, thankfully enough. Eula has to make sure that everything is set and prepared. It takes a good amount of time before that it can actually happen, and it is getting closer to dusk and then closer to sunset. And by this time, you can tell that the next Featherfall event is happening soon enough. Finder, Jemmy, and Sigvald, you can do whatever you wanted to in the meantime. You aren't adherently stricken into this room. But when you can roll one more time today before, if you did want to, go out and collect more feathers.
And again, I'll give you the Core Eyes guidance.
To learn to make this.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll. It looks like I'm gonna be staying here to learn this. I won't be going out to hunt feathers with you guys tonight. Sorry.
I'm gonna say if you,
Say what?
I'm gonna still allow this, even though you rolled. I'm gonna say if you literally take your time, dedication to do this, Eula is with you the entire time, and let's say one assistant, you will produce one.
Oh, you still get your D4. Yeah. 20.
You can figure this out without too much of an issue, but it does take time. And
Mhm.
if you do, forego the Featherfall event, you can do this.
Yeah, I'm gonna forego the Featherfall event.
All right. It does take a few hours. It does take a good amount of time. You rolled well enough that you don't need an assistant. And you are able to, by the time it reaches 8 p.m., produce one potion. It does take a few hours, though, so you prep up, set things ready for the production of the rest of the potions you will need for your team. And by tomorrow morning, you can, set this to simmer, and it'll be produced tomorrow morning. Everyone will have an additional potion outside of Eula's, too.
Eula, I actually did it!
All right.
Jimmy, Finn, and Finder, what are you guys doing for the night's
Well, I
events?
was helping Win as much as I could, but as it got close to the Featherfall event, I was actually gonna look over to Jemmy and say, Jemmy, might I have a word with you, real quick?
Sure. What's going on?
I just kind of start leading you out, and as I'm leading you out, I'm saying, I'm wondering if you can help me with something real quick.
And what's that?
Well, Last night, Win and I came across a woman when we were trying to get the feathers for her. And this woman said her name was a Miss Orin Crusher from the Irondale Kingdom. And she had no official paperwork, no official authority. But she said she was attempting to investigate you. And she attempted to coerce Win and myself to try and steal a pendant, an ice pendant of yours, and
I
replace it with one of hers that was magicked as a tracking device.
I will state, you can still state this way you want, if that's how you want it, Finn. But she never stated she didn't have an official standpoint or view on things. But
I
if
specifically asked her, and she could not produce any paperwork.
I don't remember that.
Do you have any authority, any paperwork saying that you have the authority to be here and do this? And she had none. And then she kind of backtracked and said, well, it's, him and Han, undercover. And it's like, well, you're not in your authority. It's like someone from, it's like
The
a cop
authority of the
from
city,
New
yeah.
York.
That part.
Yeah, it's
Okay, Finn.
it's like
Yeah.
a cop from New York going to San Antonio, Texas, and expecting to have police authority. He can't do that because he's not
Or
in
like
his
a
jurisdiction.
or like a cop
yeah.
from Chicago going to Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Funny.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah,
I thought you mentioned it a different way, Finn. That's my bad. Please continue.
All right. Anyway, she didn't have any authority, but she said she was investigating you for some reason. Now she didn't tell me why, but she also told me that being fabulously wealthy, that you have the police in this particular city bribed on the take under your control, and she wanted me to steal your pendant and replace it with another one that had been magically ensorcelled to track you. Now, also, she might be psychic. She did talk to me through telepathic means to get my attention. Now, I don't know your past, and it's your choice. You don't have to tell me if you don't want to. But if this is legitimately from your past, it's coming back to bite you, and just want to make sure it doesn't bite the rest of us at the same time. Figured I would give you the warning first.
Now your pronunciation of some names seemed a little bit impenetrable. You
Yeah.
said Owen Crusher?
Orin Crusher, I believe, was her name, from the Irondale Kingdom.
I mean, you're pretty close.
I mean, there's Irondale, but could you describe this person?
I
You can just say that you describe her.
was gonna say I can say I describe her. I was about to ask, with my telepathic communication, can I project an image into his mind, or is
No.
it purely verbal?
It's purely verbal, man.
Oh, okay.
That's a different kind of
in that
spell, I
case-
believe.
Oh, it's not a spell. It's a
No, not yours. I'm talking about the thing you just tried to do. That's a different kind of spell.
Okay, anyway, I'll just describe her then.
You do so
I just have
flawlessly.
another way to show a picture. Okay.
That sounds familiar. That sounds more like. Does Vilda or Crusher sound about right?
Yeah.
Or Crusher. That's probably much closer. That's what she said then.
Ah, Vilda. Yeah, she and I go way back. Although odd, I've never known her to be psychic.
Well, she did speak to me telepathically in my mind, and that keyed me off because very few in this strange place have that ability. But Anyway, she was very adamant about not letting you know and about getting this tracking device on you, so you might want to be extra aware of your equipment and your surroundings should somebody brush up against you.
That'll do.
Also, I was wondering if you could help me out with something.
And what's that?
Well, Wynn is actually very busy right now and she is studying hard. And I know that these feathers are important to her. I was wondering if you could help me try and collect a few tonight while she was doing her homework.
Could do that. I just need just a wee little bit of time first. I need to talk to Civ. It's interesting you bring this stuff up. This may be related to some pre-existing issues I've had to deal with.
I do not know your past or your pre-existing issues. I can offer counsel if you would confide, but it is not necessary. I'm not obligated.
I've never been one to have trouble with the law, but this Vilda, if that's really who she is correct in that you don't get to be a fabulously wealthy celebrity cleric without drawing the ire of some people here and there.
Okay. You had me worried for a second. Continue.
So, I've already noticed some people in town having a bit of an unhealthy interest in me. And it's something I've been looking into privately, specifically to make sure that it doesn't cause problems for myself or anyone else I associate with. But I have dealt with Vilda before, but usually in a more positive manner. If she's taken to having some issues, I'm suspecting some foul play, and not on my part.
Well, she was very adamant about the foul play being on your part, and that you had to return to Irondale for consequences. I did not believe her by this point. She seemed underhanded, shady.
Well, for what it's worth, I mean,
She
I
didn't
only
tell me
arrived here
everything.
rather recently, and if she were to find me here this quickly, there's certainly no way that she would have been able to get any sort of official enforcement powers here. So, if she is representing the law back in Irondale, she's still working on the down low out here.
Well,
But also, that psychic thing is a little bit troubling. I dealt with her a lot, and there's been nothing to lead me to believe that she could reach into anybody's minds.
well, she did reach into mine to get my attention from across a long street. I don't know. Are there magical objects that can do this sort of thing here in this land?
Jimmy, you
It
can
wouldn't
roll history.
Well, actually, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, sending stones are a thing.
That's true.
Sending. Okay.
I mean, normally the recipient needs a stone too. I'd like to think there's not one implanted in your head.
I would hope not.
On the other hand, aren't you a little bit psychically oriented as well? Maybe it's easier.
I most certainly am, and I grew up and was raised around many, and we can generally easily recognize each other. But yeah, in this place, her and Sigvald are the only other two I've experienced out of this entire city that has the sort of mental ability. Anyway.
Well,
Well, I sincerely hope I have not brought too terribly ill news, and that its quick relayance to you has been a help.
well, it's good to know. It certainly validates some suspicions I've been having the past few days. Let me talk to Civ, see if there's anything that I can do to find out more about this, and then perhaps we can go on this feather hunting expedition. I'm curious to see what kind of misadventures you and Win have been getting into these past couple of nights.
It is not easy. These people are strange. They crawl all over each other like nothing, and then when somebody else tries to do it, they get angry, and they want this sport, even in the even flaunting the needs of law enforcement investigation. It's a strange dichotomy of values.
I like how you say it that way. It was like, it's so strange when friends help each other out by climbing on top of each other to get the feather, but when I jump on random strangers, suddenly it's a
That's
problem.
not what you but
That is exactly what I
you
described, Finn.
described. You said people crawling on each other, not friends, but
I said people
again,
crying
this is
over each other to help each other out.
then again, this is
I
a
suppose
very,
that was me suggesting friendship, but people could read it as strangers.
well, it is a very odd bureaucratic dystopia here that he has
That part is true.
very little understanding of.
All right. Well, let me go talk with Civ, and I'll meet back up with you in a few minutes.
All right.
As you head over there, Finder, what are you doing for the night?
I'll probably be trying to pore over some maps and figure out where we're actually going tomorrow.
You have vague maps because not a lot of people go through the woods. They go around the woods, which is a very large area. Based off of the general information you have, go ahead and roll survival with disadvantage.
Oh,
Because you're more or less making an assumption on the near no information you have.
I know where we went, and I know where Vegas said. Anywho, with disadvantage. Well,
You know what? Just to be fair, I'll give you
Moving on.
advantage. So it's 3.
yeah, you benevolent son of a bitch.
You honestly still don't know. You can more or less make an assumption, but unless you actually go through the woods itself, you only have general ideas to begin with. You know.
Gibbs on not leading the way.
You don't make it worse. You also don't make it any better. Is
Yeah.
all that happens there.
Just a big waste of time.
And as you're doing that, Ramon does head over towards you while you're doing this, and he does state, "Oh, what are you doing there, Mr. Finder? Are you perhaps trying to survey the area without actually exploring it at first?"
Is it so unusual to want a map of where you're going to go?
Not at all, but the area itself is very, very little information on the actual typography there. It's not impossible, it's just very hard to do without the actual information at hand. Perhaps I can assist you with some things, although my memory is rather vague since I was more or less, as the kids would say it, drugged up while in the forest.
Do you remember where it first was that you met Vega?
Vaguely. It was very close to the edge of the forest from what you've told me, but I suppose I can help you out and, I don't know, try to jog a bit of memory at the exact same time.
Please.
Right. Go ahead and roll again. Just a flat roll this time.
Alright.
It's better
Hey,
than 3.
well. Yeah. He says like I didn't have a disadvantage last time.
Hey, I decided to retroactively give you advantage. You're welcome. Like for sure you would and should have disadvantage there, but at this point you're more or less getting help, so it's advantage / disadvantage, so it flattens out. With the 14, you again don't have a pinpoint location, but you do have a general path you can go that someone did go through and survived for a good amount of time, and that's better than nothing.
Sure. Thanks.
So as long as you have the potions, you might make it to the place you're heading towards. There is at least a 75% chance now.
Teamwork.
it would have been 50 if Wynn didn't have the potions made, but we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
Finder, anything else?
I suppose I didn't do anything during the day, did I? Could I have gone and bought these ingredients and like extra flasks or something?
Yeah, I want to say you helped out with gathering information. Sorry, the ingredients. You, Finn, or Jemmy could have gone to Wynn's shop. She would have likely written down a note to, ask her parents to give a discount. They obliged. You guys got the information. You went to the alchemy shop in the area to get some of the ingredients. You then requested some extra containers, and the guy in the counter does state, I suppose so, but that isn't exactly part of the chemical that you requested. What exactly kind of containers? Metallic?
Airtight medical grade for containing specimens.
That can be arranged, but that would have to be purchased, as we couldn't exactly give you it out if you go out in the wilderness.
How many do you have in stock now?
In stock, we have Finder. Go ahead and roll a D8.
D8, you say?
D8 plus 1.
Okay, so this is a D8 minus 1.
That is not
sorry.
a D8 minus
Sorry,
1.
that is.
Why would it
It's
be
a
minus?
4. Because this is plus 2.
What?
The 5 is a plus 2. It's a D8.
Oh,
Look,
okay.
I'll roll it again if you want. but if you
No.
like,
I
it's
hovered
4.
over it. I don't know why the mod's there, but okay.
Because it was an attack
Oh,
for a shield defender.
you
And I was
could
too
just roll
late.
a D8, man. 4.
What if I have these macros and never use them? What do you want from me?
Fair. We do have 4 in stock right now. They are valued at 15 gold per piece, though. But again, you do need to purchase them within the field. If not, we can rent them out to you, so long as you don't break them.
Do you say... No, there are 15 gold a piece, and how many, sorry?
15 gold per piece, and there's 4 of them.
4 of them. 10% discount if I buy all 4.
Persuasion check.
Persuasion?
Can your steel defender give you the help action? Because it's not a familiar.
Yeah, no, I don't think it can.
Okay.
I think it's pretty much a combat-y guy.
I mean, 16 is pretty good. I suppose it couldn't hurt. 15 down to 12 per bottle.
48? Done.
All right. You pay the 12 per bottle. He gives you medical grade containers. You definitely can do this. What it essentially is a glass container that you fill in, because more than likely glass is not as reactive as many other things, including metal. So that is taken care of, but outside of that, there is an outward shell that is metallic, so the outward environment is also a non-factor. So once you put it in, you immediately seal it, and it'll be okay. So long as, a fireball isn't casted 5 feet next to you, you should be fine.
I got a bag of holding.
As long as nothing destroys your bag of holding, you
Yeah.
should be fine. I've destroyed a bag of holding before. On accident, but I've still done it.
Nothing is safe.
Nothing is safe. You're okay. Coming back to this workshop, you then actually do the geography work. Ramon helps you eventually, and you do have a general guideline path. Jemmy, you head over towards where Civ is. You visit her office. It's still working hours, technically, for her. She works late into the night.
Oh, good evening.
Oh, Evening, Mr. Jemmy. Is there something I can help you with?
I had a question that you might be able to assist with here.
All right.
So it's been recently brought to my attention that there's some people who seem to be taking a particular interest in me and seem to be dead set on interfering with Section 9 operations. It was my understanding that you've got a pretty good eye on what goes on around town and generally have your ways of knowing what people are up to. So I was wondering if it was possible to get any sort of assistance finding out who these people are that are trying to interfere with our operations.
Right. Business-oriented or personal matter?
As I said, it's something that's interfering with the Section 9 operations.
I've heard that line beforehand from a lot of people.
Well, as it is, I mean, since I don't know who these people are, it's hard to know what their motivations are exactly. So I'm only looking at this in the context of, you know, getting through the mission. I mean, what happens in the off time? I mean, it's certainly just my business.
Right. So you're telling me that people have looked at you funny, and that might interfere with your business. You don't know who these people are, and you're asking me to investigate something that may or may not be personal matters. It might be someone that finds you attractive, or someone that just doesn't like you.
Well, there is one of my
could or could not be
party.
interfering with your team.
Well, there is one of my party members who mentioned being approached by someone posing as an individual from my hometown. And the odds of somebody like that knowing where to find me here, especially so shortly after I arrived, seems awfully suspicious.
That I can work with. Since they've interfered quite literally with your team member and asked about another team member, that would be beyond just personal matters, as they got another individual involved. Alright, give me the information, who they are, general description. I'll investigate this individual as soon as possible.
So I'll go ahead and provide the information for what I know of Vilda Ore Crusher. I'm also going to describe the individuals that I saw the other day that were that I had overheard, you know, specifically noticing that it was me and wondering what I was doing with Win and giving those descriptions.
Yeah. Jotting these things down, she does state, this individual that you've mentioned at first, will be the one I investigate first and foremost. The others are of little importance, so long as they don't involve any of your other team members. It honestly sounds like a personal matter. But they will still be accounted for.
Alrighty, thank you very much. And I'll go ahead and excuse myself.
Right. And as you excuse yourself, she does state, if I do find out this is personal business, don't expect an olive branch after this.
Quite understood.
You leave the office. And then we thin out into the wilderness of
Actually,
this.
as I'm stepping out, I will say, well, if you prefer, I could wait until I find a little more information first. Either way.
You've already brought this to my attention. No going back now. Unless you have something to hide.
Just what little exists of my pride.
Right. Enjoy your night.
Have a good evening.
Right. Jemmy, you more or less head out. Civ giving you the business and the workaround.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell she more or less doesn't believe you. To a good extent. She does believe the part of the individual that came up to Finn and asked questions about you. But the other part, she's going to look into that. She is a woman of her word, but at the exact same time, it's not on her highest priority.
Mhm.
So unless something actually truly happens, then is when she'll get involved.
Mhm.
Or if it happens to another team member of yours, then that is when she immediately gets involved. I digress, though. You find Finn once more, and out in the wilderness, you go out and collect more feathers. And I'm just going to have this to be a simple check. Finn and Jemmy, I want you both to roll a d20. It can either be acrobatics or athletics. You will have to beat certain numbers to collect certain amount of feathers. I won't tell you the feather amount, but you do need to beat the numbers of 14, 17, and 20.
Okay. Can I give myself guidance, and if I'm using telekinesis, my 60-foot range telekinesis, could that help any?
I'll give you advantage on that, but you don't roll 3 times. You roll once and hope you meet the numbers.
Okay.
Jemmy, you can do the same thing, other than telekinesis, because I don't remember if you have that or not.
I definitely do not.
But you can definitely do the expert guidance.
Mhm.
Okay.
One thing that I will do is not that this will necessarily help find anything, but I'm going to go ahead and use disguise stealth
me.
to take on a different appearance, so that if this gets flubbed somehow, it doesn't necessarily come directly back to Section 9.
That is fair. You guys were expressly warned about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to not be wearing my name tag and look as nonchalant as possible.
Yeah.
If you're,
Hood up or something.
as long as you don't roll low enough, you should be fine.
All right. Well, I'm going to give myself some expert guidance. And you said that acrobatics was one of the acceptable ones?
Acrobatics or athletics?
All right. Let me see if I have any other spells that might help. Let's see one thing here.
After this, we're going to quickly get back to when.
Right. Okay, yep, I don't see anything super helpful here, so I'll just go ahead and roll that acrobatics 15.
You beat one of the numbers.
Okay, and for me, I will do that, and then acrobatics 24.
Cool. Jemmy, you are able to collect one feather. You didn't roll low enough that you drew any attention, but, you know, one feather is better than nothing. Finn, you collected 3 feathers, and no one also spotted you. Over the course of time, you then collected for the night 4 feathers in total for your team, but separately between Finn and Jemmy. 3 to Finn and 1 to Jemmy. And there are more feathers that fall, but, you know, there's an entire city. For sure, other people will collect them. We go back to Win. When you are making excellent progress through the night, you're making it all the way until morning. You do rest. You do take a long rest, all of you. And by the morning, you do have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, I really gotta like sleep for 4 hours. I'm good.
You sleep for 4 hours. And you do make a total of 6 potions through the night. By the time you do so, Eula does have to actually take a full long rest. Wakes up, looks towards you. Good, it does seem that you've managed to do it.
Yeah, morning. Thanks for all the help.
Of course. Sorry I had to sleep for the next 8 hours. Unfortunately.
It's perfectly fine. You need to rest. It's gonna be a big day.
Right. Fair enough.
But now that I've learned all of this, I'll try think of a way where we can actually better the formula to see if we can make something more efficient.
It is possible. We just haven't had a direction through the forest to begin with. So if we can collect samples within the deeper sections of the forest, that can make the potion more potent, so long as we have the proper. Best way to describe them are poisons and neurotoxins.
I was kind of thinking the same thing.
Let's splash our.
It's all the plant life that I have information on are more of the outskirts and a bit more inwards. But to get uh, but it seems like the fog is more dense, more inward. So I think if we get samples over there, we can actually make something great.
It is possible, but we haven't had a direction to go towards, so we can only go so far before we have to turn back.
Well, we do now.
Slide.
Give her a warm smile.
Hopefully.
Oh, this is going to be so much fun.
Yes. At least I hope we don't die.
Well, that's why I'm here. I gotta make sure we all get back safe.
I suppose that is true.
That's why I wanted to do all this research to see if I can find a way for us to go in
I
deeper.
also nearly.
Yes, that is honestly the best course of action. If you would... I don't know if you are looking for actual employment, Miss Wen, but other than your... what's the polite way of saying this? Guns a-blazing team, I can potentially offer you a job if your department does get shut down. I have heard rumors that you are towing the line. A very thin line.
Me, myself, join a thin
It
line,
works, I
or the section itself?
The section itself.
Oh, okay. Way different. But
Correct.
that does sound like a tempting offer. It's always nice to have a safety net just in case.
Indeed, and you seem to be one of steady itself, so we could always use someone like you.
Oh,
Oh.
thanks.
Right. At that point in time, Finn comes in to...
I apologize. Can I retcon half a second at a time?
Re-retcon half a second at a time. What's up?
After getting the feathers, I wanted to run to Wynn's parents' shop and buy a small bouquet of hydrangeas and chrysanthemums.
Sure.
And a pot of tea.
Pot of tea. Flowers. Jimmy's wondering why you're doing this, but doesn't question it. Okay. By that point in time, Finn, Jemmy, Finder, come in. More than likely Finn first, then... No, more than likely Finder first goes to his lab to get ready for the day, because you're going to head into the forest. More than likely Finn next. Jemmy, unfortunately, does try to get his beauty sleep.
Hello.
Oh, hello, hello.
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 I lost audio for a second. I apologize.
Uh,
Where were we here?
Finder goes to his lab in the morning, does his thing. Finn, you come in with the stuff you bought.
I was gonna take the 4 feathers we got because Jimmy gave me his, and I'm gonna stuff them into the small bouquet, like they're part of it. And then I come in at the end of Wynn's discussion and research and ask, well, how's the research going?
Oh, it's going good. I already made a few potions.
Excellent, excellent. I do know you like the feather fall and like the feathers, and you were here working and couldn't go get any, so I thought maybe here. And I present a small bouquet of chrysanthemums and hydrangeas with 4 magic feathers in there.
Wynn is completely blushing.
Yes.
Oh, Finn!
She's level 6.
Oh, Oh, this is lovely. Thank you.
It's the least I could do. You've been such a help.
She'll take the bouquet and hold it close to her chest while smelling them.
It's really beautiful. Thanks.
You're welcome. I'm glad it could bring a smile to your face.
Yeah,
I brought some. Go ahead.
it's just, I know you're not from here, and giving someone feathers during the Featherfall events does mean things, you know?
I've explicitly stated this.
I know, so that's why I'm retouching up
Yeah,
on
Yeah.
it.
but
just in
Finn
case.
explicitly doesn't know any of that.
I know.
Yes,
He was just confused about the feather falls.
yeah, so, I don't know if you know this, but, when you give someone these feathers from the Featherfall, it means that you're, uh, um,
Um,
interested in a certain romantic way.
oh, oh, oh! I apologize. I wasn't trying to be forward. I'm
Yeah, she's hiding her. She's trying to hide her blushing face with the bouquet.
and Finn is now blushing
Yeah, like
and kind of choking on his words. It's like I brought some tea for the late night researching.
You know, we only have 2 days to do this now, right?
find her in the background. Eula 5 feet away.
Plenty of time. Yep.
Right.
Yep. How many times did I say yep already?
A few times. Anyways.
I will get this done.
Mhm.
And she'll like Win will try turn around to put the bouquet down, and she'll like bump her knee into the desk.
Ow.
Oh, are you okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
At a certain point, Jemmy does enter into this awkward, well, cutesy, but still awkward scenario. Eula does state, okay, that seems to be the entire team now. Good. Let's try to move past this. To try to help both Finn and Win out, Eula's like, alright then, it does seem like everyone is here. Potions, an extended amount of potions already. Based off of what Mr. Finder had stated, there's only 2 days left for your mission to start. I would suggest, unless you expressly need to take another day to accomplish this today, I believe
Let's go.
you guys discussed everything you need, have set up. Finder, you have a general path when you have made extra potions outside of her 2 potions. So she still gives out 2 of her potions, and when you give out or hold on to yours, I'll let you decide that one. But you do have 6 potions and then 2 more.
That is a very confusing sequence of numbers, my friend.
Everyone has 2 potions. Win has 8. Unless
Okay.
she gives hers out.
I'll keep the 2 Eula gave me. I should have 6 more. I'll give everyone an extra 1, and I'll keep the extra 1 just in case for myself.
So in total, everyone has 3 potions.
But I have 4.
Yes.
Yeah.
The potions in my notes, you can change them however you want. When you did make them, you can change yours, I suppose. But they are known as neuralizing potions. And again,
Forest potions.
forest potions will
Yeah, let's
also
go
work.
with forest potions.
I'm pretty sure I spelled neuralizing wrong anyway, so that's fine.
Oh, Win, how's your knee?
Oh, it's fine. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, fine. Yeah.
Right. Are we gonna get going?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me just grab my bag so I can store samples of flora better.
I would certainly hope so. You guys do grab the equipment you need. Did everyone gather a common magical item, or did you not do that?
I still have the one I have on loan, and I think it can still be helpful.
All
It
right.
can be.
I did not take an item just yet because I didn't know what to fucking take.
That's fair.
Before we go, I'm gonna go ahead and talk to the attendants and ask them to keep an eye out for anything suspicious, and also providing the descriptions of the people from the bistro to take particular note of anybody fitting that description.
They do not, and like they do, they know how to do their work. You give them an assignment, and they do it. That being said, while people were shopping and doing their things and going out last night, when you had to stay in the office to work, did anyone have a passive perception of 18?
Yep.
Not a passive.
Mine,
18.
yeah, not a passive 18. My passive is a 17.
Can we roll
So
an active?
close.
No.
That's not how this works, pal.
But yeah, no passive.
I'm going to let you guys roll when I really want you to have this. This is quite literally passive. Okay.
What is a sending stone? Is that like a uncommon, rare,
I believe that's uncommon.
common?
I'm going to look it up just in case, but I do believe it's uncommon.
Well, it also your world, so you can say.
I'm going to make it uncommon if it is mine.
Thought they're legendary.
I'm not that mean. Wondrous uncommon item.
So it is common.
Uncommon. It's not rare, but it is uncommon.
Gotta get Jemmy to give up his common. If you want it.
I thought Jemmy gave his... No, Finder, you gave yours up to Finn.
That's right, because I can enchant my own shit.
I guess when... If Jemmy truly did, because I don't remember him saying that, but if he did...
I mean, I've been making it a point not to get anything for myself, so if somebody does approach me with a request, I'm willing to entertain it.
Do we think a sending stone would help us out there?
Well,
Oh, you kind of have to have two. I mean, they normally come in pairs. If you expect us to split up, they could be useful.
How does your sending stones work? Are they like telephones or walkie-talkies?
They're like...
Both of which require receivers.
I mean,
is it
They're
one
like
way and then the
voice
other way?
text messages.
is it like bulk kind, or is it, you can use
You
it,
can speak 25 words at a time.
or you that's what I'm trying to fucking ask. Is it book, or
It's-
is it just whatever?
It's whatever.
Oh,
I'm
Okay.
not that stingy with them.
Okay, so it's a good one.
Yeah.
yeah, the ones
Well,
where you can
actually,
actually have like a cell phone rather than just a messaging service.
One catch is you can only use them once per day normally.
Well,
yeah, that's
there
why
is...
I was asking if it was book or the other kind.
Oh, okay.
There
You're
is-
throwing me off there.
You can use them however. As long as you're not abusing it, I really don't care.
There is something called earring of messaging, and that's similar to a sending stone. It just has less range, but you can use it over and over. I don't know.
I don't care enough, Finn. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's like a phone. You can use it until you abuse it.
And
Alright.
if it's an issue, I can actually make a sending stone receiver. Actually, it says sending stones plural.
Yeah, you usually have to make more than one.
I don't know. I always just like having a set. Excuse me. I always just like having a sending stone in the party.
Yeah,
It
Uh,
makes things less complicated later on.
for sure. For sure, you can collect 2 sending stones because, someone needs to receive it. So you can do that if you want. When?
Also, I only can call the others a sending stone, or can I call anyone with the sending stone?
Anyone with a sending stone if you know they have one. Or you can take a wild guess and hope they have one.
Alright. I
I don't
mean,
know now.
I could,
Maybe something else.
like I said, I've been sitting on an Artificer Infusion, because I can do it whenever. I could make sending stones, and then we'd have 4 out of 5.
That could work.
But if you don't order them, then I still have an infusion left.
Do you guys want to hold on to it and hope? You know what? I'm going to do this. Let's say you collect something and you'll figure it out later.
Sure.
We collect potential.
We collect potential. You gather everything. Said, we'll meet you guys later on. He is within the parameters of he exists and neither exists within the same spectrum of time. You enter into the forest to a good extent. Finder, you've made a path line. Assuming you head towards the same direction in the accurate direction, you can get through there. Soon enough, you do come across the fog bank area that is the forest danger zone, if you will. It either actually looks like fog around you, or it just looks like a nothingness in front of you. Because unfortunately, my area of effect animations, it's one or the other.
Looks pretty good.
Okay.
Just a wall of fog in front of us.
Yes. Either way would work, honestly. Eula does state, all right then, once we uncork it, we have 12 hours of full usage, unless things get very bad or we get lost somehow. We cannot be in an extensive fight. If we do get into a fight, it does burn through our blood work a lot faster, so we cannot get into multiple conflicts, if you will. Mr. Finder,
Is it because your increased heart rate, or because it works off of your metabolism?
in my notes, it's just heart rate, but it would make sense because it would go through your metabolism a lot faster.
Kind of
yes.
tied hand in hand.
You see Wynn take out a notebook and write down some notes.
That would make logical sense. Yes, you are correct on this. And Finder, you are correct. I suppose I could have explained it better in my notes, but I just made them off the cuff, so whatever. Good form of understanding this. Again, job offer is on the line, even if your team doesn't get disbanded.
So it's not because the increased oxygen intake from stress causes it to oxidize at a faster rate?
You could also potentially get a job, but I should probably talk with my boss before offering jobs. Anyways, Uh, I
Finder, I believe you said you had a map.
Yes, it's probably very important that everyone have a general idea of where we're going. If we get separated, we will have to meet up at the well.
you
Yes,
present I wouldn't say crude, but a general map of the area.
Ramon drew it.
Finder. I feel like you would be on things quite easily. I'm assuming you would have made more than one map.
I mean, I have a laboratory, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Maps for
thanks, Finder.
everyone.
Thanks, Finder. This is going to be very helpful.
I think I might have an idea. If this is, you said you weren't entirely confident of these coordinates or directions because we don't have a lot of topographical lay of the land.
No one we talked to had been there.
A day's travel in the forest isn't a huge amount because of all the obstacles and trees and everything. Wonder if we could actually see that. Wynn, you're good with maps, aren't you? Tracking, survival type things?
Yeah.
You guys hold on a second. I grab Wynn by the hand and take out my broom and put us both on it and fly us way up high, straight up from the fog bank, so that we could get a good bird's eye view. We should be able to see from above, at least as far as a day's travel, to see if we can see a landmark to give us a better specific heading.
You fly up way into the sky, enough where you bypass the fog bank. You look down a good distance, and you see fog bank as far as the eye can see.
Nothing poking out of the fog bank at all, not
Trees here and there.
mountains, extra tall trees.
Like extra tall trees here and there, but not like so tall that it's a world tree.
Oh, no, I wasn't expecting like a
Just
world
like
tree. I was
big tree.
expecting maybe, hills, lay of the land, mountainous rocks here or there.
There are some, like, for sure, you're not wrong, Finn, but, you can only have so much data if you can't discern the surrounding.
Okay.
Like, for sure, you can put those on your map, and that'll help you out, but you would then have to fly back up into the air and hope you're... Can any of you not be lost? And by that, I mean, do you have the background where you always know where north is? I know that, like, certain gnomes and dwarves have that, especially if you live underground.
Sigvald's not with us, is he?
No.
Okay.
We're
Sigvald grabbed an orb of direction. That would give us our compass.
I believe that was an uncommon item.
It's a common item, and I'm pretty sure that's the one he grabbed. I remember him talking about
He
it.
put it back.
Talking
Well,
about
then
what
we
now?
can we can grab it.
Is that the item you guys want?
Well, that's the item that I could take. They can get
Oh.
other items.
You have Wanderer, so you've already got that. And if any of these rocks and stuff line up with objects on your map, you can use that as an exact point of reference.
Yeah, Wynn's Wanderer would work that way. You wouldn't need the orb then.
All right. I'll sketch down some of the terrain that I can see and make note of it on the map.
Yeah, I'll give you guys advantage on this. That's a good on you guys. At the very least, you'll know how to get back out of the forest.
Like, haha, druid.
May the Korra guide you.
Outlander.
I've wandered far and wide across this city.
Well, and she also goes outside of the city. But
Besides, you did say you wanted to fly, and in a room didn't seem like a lot of flying.
yeah, she is when you do fly with her, she is wrapping her arms around you so she doesn't fall. She does hold on a little tightly, but she is like bright-eyed and like basking in the experience.
As Wynn almost breaks ribs.
Featherfall.
You guys begin to write down any information you can get. As you make your way back down, unless somehow you guys try to fly over it and do it yourselves, I'll leave that up to you. I'm only putting that out there to give you guys a bad idea. You guys
You
fly
monster.
back down with the
She's
team
got all the potions. No.
and spread out the information you have so everyone else writes it on theirs. Eula does state, that's more information than most people have currently going with them. All right, we will need to go through the entire forest itself without hopefully encountering anything or anyone. I have heard rumors and now potentially accurate rumors that people do live here, based off of what Mr. Finder said with our boss. So let's hope for the best. We don't encounter anything. One of you will have to roll survival, and because Wynn did such a good job having Wanderer as a background trait, you can go ahead and roll with advantage if it's Wynn specifically.
I guess I'll.
May the core eye guide you.
Thank you.
Nice.
Nice.
You guys get immediately lost, and then not lost, and then it does take a full day and a half, but you guys do get there, and the day and a half is just quite literally making it there and knowing where you're going, so you didn't lose any time.
Well, now I'm offended. I got to roll too now. Ooh, and that's without expert guidance. All right, I am not instantly lost.
Jemmy looks around to high five his attendants, and he's like, "Aw."
I do want to make notes on like where we're traveling and taking some samples as we go further in. Like every half day or so, I want to take tree samples, florite samples, dirt samples, and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And if we come across any water, I'll take some water samples.
There are some
Every half day.
Yeah, more or less every 4 hours or so until you guys need to rest, and then beyond that point, you do collect about 8 samples or so throughout the thing. There are fauna, flora, both living and inorganic, some bugs, some plants. You do collect some water samples, but you for sure can tell that the source of that water is not the, as Finder puts it, the magical water.
Yeah, but it is part of the ecosystem, which
For
could
sure.
help later on.
And you're not the only one doing this. Both Eula is as well.
I smile at her and give her a nod, like, hey, I'm doing it too.
She nods in kind. Again, job offer is still there.
Thanks.
You guys do eventually make it towards a clearing. Now, unless you're actually in the fog bank itself, you would not have found this area without expressly knowing where it is.
Make a note on the map.
Mm-hmm. You easily do that. That is most discernible. Finn fly up into the air, breaking the cloud bank. It is midday once you arrive here, so before the Featherfall event actually happens. And unfortunately, you can't collect any feathers on the prior day because it's so hard to see through the area. But you float back down right in everyone's map where your current location is. So if you do need to come back here, you have it. It's historically there. And you guys are now on the second to last day before you can no longer do the mission. Or at the very least, can no longer track things down. So just at the end of the wire.
Right.
Is this the well?
This is the well. It is massive. It is not just a well, but a literal lake in, well,
A pond.
big pond. Big pond. Big pond.
Odd. Finder's gonna take his 4 samples
Oh,
and hope nothing bad happens.
Wynn
Oh,
was
Finn.
Win was going to take samples of herself too.
Finn, you wouldn't mind checking to make sure that water is actually magical, would you?
Um, how do I detect if it's magical?
You use the spell detect magic.
That I do not have.
Oh, sorry, I'm mistaken for a different character.
Yeah.
Does anyone has detect magic? If not, you guys can just take samples.
Can I
I
get
can-
telepathic ability, not magic?
I can do it. I just need 10 minutes. So I can do it.
It's
Of
same,
course.
so I'll take my samples first.
Well, we literally can take our samples together. There's a giant fucking pond.
Correct.
Oh, there's a cue. You have to stay in line.
Jemmy's first, then Finder, then Win, then Finn, then Eula. No, you guys can do it at the exact same time. It's honestly a big freaking pond. At Finder and Win, you take 10 minutes while people are collecting other samples around. And both of you, I'm assuming you're using detect magic.
Yeah.
Ritually, of course.
Yeah.
You take your time and cast it on this area, and you do detect a slight hint of rejuvenation. It is not so powerful that you can just swim in it and be healed immediately. It's like it's a slow process rejuvenation course. If you're like heavily winded, if you've been exhausted, it'll heal you over time, but it will heal you. But you know, if you are at max health, you are not gonna get healed, but you have half health, you'll get like a D10 plus 2 points of health back, which is good. But the more you
Better
drink,
than a health
it is not gonna better than a health potion to an extent. You can still roll one.
I'll actually relay this information.
So it is magical, as Mr. Finder stated. But it's not such a high property that it is covetable. That being said, though, that is the deal, and we will accept it so long as
Well,
the sample that
There.
your team collects makes it back to the office.
well, the thing
You're
is,
not collecting them? Sorry.
It can be used as a base to make more powerful healing potions, I would think.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It may not be, the fountain of youth, but it's still quite significant in its own right, and it could lead to a lot more powerful things.
You are correct. Each one of you, again, I did state that it's not, an amazing find, but it is a good find altogether. And Mr. Finder, to answer your question, the deal was you were to retrieve and collect and bring back a sample.
Well, I think it is an amazing find.
It
It's
is.
a beautiful pond.
I am not disagreeing, Miss Wynn. Or, sorry, I'm not disagreeing, Wynn. Just
Yeah, we're
stating a fact.
friends. Yeah, we're friends now, so drop the miss.
We've known each other for about 2 days. Let's say
That
acquaintances
doesn't
at
matter.
best.
Doesn't matter.
I just had a thought. I mean, with all this fog, it's been hard to find the feathers, but those creatures specifically stop here. This seems like our best chance to find more if we're really going to look for them.
Yes, but we do know where they go after this, and do we have much more time?
You have about a half day before the actual Featherfall event happens again, which just means that, they're heading this way. Again, I did say midday, which is around 2 p.m.? So, like,
Oh, so we're
4 more
ahead of
hours.
Well, I
Yes.
have a question, GM.
Yes.
You said that the potions last for 12 hours, and it's already been like a day and a half.
You made it here. This is a clearing area where the fog is not there. Well, it is there, but there's like a weird protective bubble around here.
It's probably from the ladder.
Yeah. Probably. But when don't
Or
worry
if-
about it. It lasts 12 hours, but you go into the forest for a good amount of those hours, and then when you need to take it, you take it. Like,
Okay,
you
'cause
timed it well.
Okay, because I was gonna say, would it be possible for me to make some more?
If you believe you have that time frame and the proper tools, you could have brought them. And you believe
Do we have the time frame?
you have like enough time to make one, if you're really lucky, two.
Not enough. But yeah, I want to
Um,
take a few samples. You know, not just one. I'm taking a bunch.
Roll 2d6.
While that's going on, I'm going to look up. Is the fog above us? Like, would there be fog here above if the bubble wasn't keeping it away?
Yes, in fact, you see like a weird curve of fog more or less 30 feet above you.
Okay.
Can I peer across the water? I'm assuming that this pond is to scale.
Pond is the scale. You peer across the water and you see more forest. And beyond a certain point, you see the fog.
Specifically, I'm looking on the surface of the water. Now I see all these lily pads. I'm just curious if there are any feathers floating on top of the water that might have fallen last night or the night before.
Not currently, but Finder is correct. They're likely, or was it Jimmy? I forget who. But there's likely feathers around here.
Jimmy.
Okay.
Yeah, that was what I was suggesting, but I thought there was an indication that we had beaten the creatures to this.
But they could have fallen yesterday or the day before, not just
Yeah.
today. And that's what I'll be looking for while they're trying to take their samples and everything.
Yeah, and what was the 2d6 for?
To see how many, what's it called?
Samples?
Feathers?
Potential samples you can take. You have 8 containers, not as high grade as Finders, but good. So you can have that many, but you have to split it apart between the water and like the stuff you're collecting throughout the forest. So you can collect as many as you want, but you have 9 containers currently. You know what? Let's make it 10. An even number.
Thank you. I guess I'll take a. Let's just cut it down the middle. So 5.
Okay. Sounds good.
48 gold I paid.
Well,
I'm
I'm an herbalist. I already had some of the equipment on me.
That is true. And Finder, yours are very high grade. Unless a literal magical explosion happens literally next to them, they're gonna last.
But I also have
Boys.
a bag that can literally keep it fresh. So
That is true. And also, Finder, I was gonna have you figure this one out, but this is fair. You also do have containers outside of that, but yours, the ones you bought, are technically magical. They contain more. You just don't know how much more.
I see. Interesting.
You just never
Extra
explicitly told me that you were going to use those. But outside the
I
point.
thought it was. Anyway, that's definitely what I used. All 4 of those. 3
Okay.
inside the bag, 1 outside.
You get a good chug of the water. Like, you can tell at a certain point, you're wondering why it's filling so much. It's not enough that, it takes down the level of the water, but it's more than you thought would be in it.
A little absurd. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Eula does collect her own samples, but she does state, this is for me, by the way. You still need to, unless you want to hand it to me and hope for the best, that the item still retains its properties while in my possession until we reach the office.
Are you going back then?
Not immediately. I did state that if you do require my assistance, I would be here to assist you.
And of course, report everything else that we do. Not that that's the worst thing in the world.
we are on a contract for information exchanging, so
You're not wrong on this.
And if
probably
we
something-
provide far more information than is in the original contract,
Dependent if we both benefit on this, yes. There is nothing stating that we cannot assist one another, just that we assist each other within the confines of the contract itself. Meaning we give you the information and you provide us this sample. Once that has been met, then that contract's fulfilled. Nothing bars us from moving beyond that point.
Which were to me that if we brought back one of those creatures, that's going to be something we can negotiate on separately.
That is correct, yes.
what's Finder doing over there? I mean,
I'm
Finder,
not
but
sure.
Finn.
Finn, what are you doing?
I was emptying my water skin and filling it with the magical pond water whilst I was scanning for feathers
Where do you put the water?
in my water skin, my regular old carry
No,
around
no,
water
no.
skin, a big
The
beaker.
water skin water. Where do you put that?
I just dump it out on the ground over here.
Okay.
in my body, that's the only answer. No.
You dump it out on the
chug,
ground.
Chug, chug.
I'll drink what I want so I'm not thirsty and dump out the rest.
You drink
And
some
then
of
It's
it.
too late.
No, he can drink some of it, but the rest, you dump it out. Otherwise, you need to immediately pee.
And then
That'd be worse, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and water skin actually holds, I believe, a liter, so it's a big
It's a good amount.
bunch. And then I was scanning for the feathers, and I kind of telepathically messaged to Win that I've got a whole water skin of this if you do need more, because I saw you struggling trying to see how many vials you could fill.
She looks very happy at you and smiles. And nods her head. Thank you.
You more or less take your time getting samples, collecting things. Finn, you roam around by yourself to find any more feathers. As you're doing so, Finn, I want you to go ahead and roll for me a dexterity saving throw.
Yes,
Okay.
thrice.
I'm gonna be right back. Gotta use the bathroom.
No problem.
Hit by a
Indeed.
winged rider dropping.
Alright, is this yeah, saving throw? Okay, there we go.
Oh, so do you have the alert feat?
Wait a second.
He
Have
thinks
cool
nay.
Mind. Yeah, no. Fighter, second wind, action surge, fighting style.
People with the alert feat, it's like dark vision. You know, they'll tell you.
Yep. Yep, no, I don't have anything that would help me be alert just yet. Okay, saving throw, just normal. And I can't give myself any help or anything.
No. That would be too meta.
Well, no, yeah, guidance, yeah.
The very nature of a saving. Well, it's only an ability check, and the nature of a saving throw is you don't see it coming.
Finn walks around every single step of his day being like, Quora, guide me to not stub my toe.
Now see the face of a man you've recently, in his mind, tried to rip out their nails, which is mean, but that's not what
I didn't
you
try
said.
to rip out his nails. I clipped his claws. It's something that you have cats. You know that that's something you need to do to keep their claws from getting too long and pointy.
Yeah, and they love it.
But it helps them. It's necessary. Same with dogs. You gotta clip their claws, and that doesn't mean ripping their claws out. It just means trimming them.
Trimming, not removing. But you
Yes.
did vaguely
Standard maintenance
suggest
for a
this.
cat. You have 2 cats.
You are correct on this. But you see Tom in the tree line. Why isn't he there? Paste. There we go. Welcome back, lady.
Okay, I'm not. Oh,
There you go.
Oh, is that Tom?
The one next to
No,
you.
look-
No.
You just
Uh,
failed your
no.
perception check.
Oh no, it just now popped up. This guy popped up first, and now this guy.
Yeah, I think that was
lagged.
accidental. Well, whatever.
Someone's gonna get stabbed
Immediately-
in the kidney.
Tom misses, and then the rest of the gang does pop up. You see, the rest of you do see a random menagerie of people walking. Hello.
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 Okay, I'm back. Clearly I got lost somewhere. Tom tries to shoot Finn in the face. Finn turns around in time to dodge the action. Random people go through and Finder, the southernmost man, is the man you accosted the other night with Sigvald. Looking towards this, he just looks towards Tom in the tree, stating, Tom, we've talked about this. Don't just try to strike on your own. I just really wanted to. He told me he'd cut off my nails, and you know how cats feel about that. That is no excuse for you to not follow the plan. You know what? Whatever. Whatever.
I trimmed your claws so you were safe. Come on.
That
You
is
are
not
exaggerating and
true.
twisting my words.
And it's not any better.
Absolutely. You are a tongue-twisting liar, sir.
And you don't value personal space. How would you like it if I trimmed your nails without your consent?
My
Be
fingernails
weird.
don't kill people. They were a weapon.
So you're saying just because I'm a tabaxi, you treat me differently? Wow. Do you hear this guy?
You are a word-twisting liar.
It's because you're a criminal, Tom.
That's beside the point. You can tell he's just giving you sass.
Yeah,
I'm actually against decline.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I.
You know, from where
I
I'm
wasn't-
from, ambushes aren't this weird.
Right.
And
Outside
I
of
wasn't going to declaw him. I just blunted them so he couldn't clip out of the ropes and try and kill us.
No, I don't think so. The man in front of you guys, like, whatever this is, we're just gonna ignore that. Anyways. Hello again. It's been not that long. Have you been treated well within the forest line? By the way, thanks for leading us here. Surprisingly enough, in record time from what I imagine. Good thing, too. We only had time to make the potion that, well, thanks to tracking you guys down, I'm assuming you made as well. So we had enough for one go through.
Everyone just run if they start to fight us. They don't have any more potions.
Oh, I'm telling you expressively for this. Well, I suppose I'll just blatantly say this. You gonna help us, or are you gonna be a hindrance? If you're gonna be a hindrance, we are just gonna strip you of the potions you have. Or,
Yeah,
you know what?
this Sounds
I'll,
like a
I'll just
fight.
be petty. I'll just destroy the potions while we're fighting if you intend to fight us. Are you gonna assist, or are you going to try and do something?
How are you guys getting back then?
Oh, we'll find a way back. Don't worry about that, miss. We
Well,
have more than just us. We are just the advanced team. But you know, we can't exactly...
Insight check?
Go ahead, but
Do
he
we,
does
do we
continue.
believe that?
Yeah, but if you need a way back, wouldn't it be smarter to keep our potions intact so you can use it?
Again, we're the advanced team. We're having other people make more. We just couldn't exactly
Oh,
wait.
okay.
So in other
Oh,
words,
okay, I got it.
this guy just said that if they don't make it back, then their other guys don't know exactly where this pond is. I think that dictates our course of action.
Maybe.
I'd interpret that differently. I'd say he's saying, no, there'll be more people to come after us with plenty of potion. We're the advanced team, and they know exactly where we've gone. But what does my insight tell me about whether or not I'm correct?
He seems to be telling the truth. He is the advanced team. They just couldn't wait and, drop the ball on, getting here in time. Because if you do get here and they aren't here, well, then that is a day they miss. That is time they need. Otherwise, another year passes. They do have more than this. And he's expressly told you he has more than this. This is just the people that have been watching you. He's expressly told you that they've been watching you. He also told you that there were 5 people on his team, which just means one of them did not pop out of the woods. What he is saying is true. He is still willing to work with you guys. He is also willing to destroy the equipment you have if, you become a problem.
He can only destroy the equipment we have if he beats us, though.
That's not true. For those that put them in Finder's suspended bag, aka bag of holding, or anyone's bags of holdings adjacent, sure. But not everyone has those. And I'm going to say no one except for Finder and maybe Win could do that, because that would be meta gaming at that point. At this point.
So, what is it, Mind Reader, that you want us to help you with?
It's quite simple. Whatever these flying things are, collect one, bag and tag, bring it back alive. From what I can tell, you seem to be competent enough to make it here. We didn't even encounter anything living out there, which is very surprising. Whoever led your team, good job.
Thank you. That was me.
Oh.
I wave at him and smile.
Well,
When
thank you.
Don't make
What?
yourself a target to the people who might want to kill us.
He was sorry.
No, it's fine. I would make yourself a target if you are the one that led people here. You would be the most valuable.
I'm still kind of new to all of this. Sorry.
It's fine. Again, mercenary by trade. Not exactly evil, just need to get my job done.
Florist.
Now you mentioned working with you. So far all I'm hearing is a favor that we can do for you. What is it you're going to be doing for us if we help?
I feel like I've had this conversation last night.
They won't
First,
attack us.
We don't attack you. Second, we can assist you with the mission that you need done. Third...
Hey, seeing that you launched what appears to be another poison dart at our friend, seems like you're already violating your part of this.
Again, I don't know why he has such a problem with you guys explicitly, other than Mr. Finder here throwing acid in his face. I understand, some qualms there. I don't know why he attacked your friend Finn over there. He tried to declaw me. I honestly don't fully believe that, but sure, let's go with that. How about let's say starting now? Fair enough. And if you do accomplish this mission, we will give you some funds that we acquire. Based on the benefactor that we have currently, we have enough to spare. So you'll get funding. You'll get your job done, or at the very least, have a percentage of it increased to be getting it done. And you won't have people trying to murder you. Or at the very least, accost you. We're not exactly trying to murder you, but if you heavily resist, there's only so many punches we can hold.
Like, what happens if we just leave?
Then that's just working against us.
I mean, not the way we came.
That is still working against us, Mr. Finder. We are giving you more or less of an ultimatum.
really making a deal with the people that tried to assassinate you twice?
Again, that's Tom. I acid splash in his face. I understand that. Why he's attacking you expressively, Mr. Finn, I'm gonna assume he just doesn't like you.
He keeps saying the acid splash thing like I was under the influence of drugs, which you
That were
applied without my consent.
Yeah.
Again, mercenary.
So that's not an excuse. That's just an admission of criminal.
So
No,
control your mercenaries.
no, that's not, Mr. Finn. Many mercenaries can do the job within the boundaries of the laws. It's just easier for us not to.
I.e., criminal.
No. Criminal
If you
only
work
if you
outside
get.
the boundaries of the laws is a criminal.
Or vigilante.
That is what the laws are there for.
I mean, I'm assuming you guys are working within the boundaries of each law you follow, are you not? I'm sure you got everything done with the proper work, documentation, paperwork.
As far as I'm aware, that is what the purpose of Section 9 is for. And we have a writ of authority.
Eula does state, Mr. Finn, not necessarily. You went around and, made a deal specifically towards my boss with all of you.
That's two law enforcement agencies choosing to work together. Not illegal.
Not illegal, but you did curve the paperwork.
Extrajudicial. Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
But besides that, you did work underneath the confines of the law. To a good extent, at the very least. See there? We are all the same.
Yeah,
Except
you're
a
in
little bit more
in-
violent on my end. That
And
also,
the-
tells you something about me. I am willing to attack you. If need
Which
be.
means, Eula, you kind of have to be in on it too. Unless you're confident you can make it through the rest of the Red Scorpion's reinforcements that are supposedly coming. You'll have to abide by whatever we decide.
No.
Making. Or, like I said, run past them, which is just as good because you deliver our sample.
I feel like I'm not making myself clear here, Mr. Finder.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't talking to you, but yes.
Sure. Ultimatum time. Work with us. Don't work with us. Those are your options. There is not a third option. This is not a negotiation. You either benefit from us, or you get attacked. And potentially a loss of life.
But you're making the assumption that you will be ultimately victorious.
Mr. Finn, stop talking.
Might I confer briefly with my team?
You may.
The way I see it, our options are either run away because they don't have enough potions to follow us, fight them and get our way and wait for their reinforcements, or work with them and expect the inevitable betrayal.
Working with them is criminal. Fighting them is an excellent option because it will increase the potion that they burn through. We have extras, they obviously do not. And if we have to run away, which I don't believe we will, then they will not be able to follow. And the longer he sits there and keeps talking to us, the more time that their other party has to catch up. So time is of the essence, and I believe attack is most appropriate.
And what happens when the winged riders come to their oasis and find conflict here?
Are the winged riders going to show up in the 45 seconds it takes us to fight? It's
No
not
idea.
even dark yet.
You don't know at this point.
Yeah, we really don't know when they'll show up. But if this is an essential waypoint for them, then they might get involved.
And I doubt they're going to be easy to convince to pick sides.
excellent time to run away and let them take care of the rest of these guys whilst we regroup.
What was that, Jim?
If it comes, oh, I was gonna say, if they do show up during this combat and they do decide to defend it, that would be an excellent time for us to have a coordinated retreat and let them take care of these mercenary guys, and we can regroup. That's only if they show up in the 45 seconds it takes us to fight.
Potentially, but would there be any reason why they don't attack? Let's say if we do retreat ourselves. I suppose hope.
Well, my guess is that they themselves aren't immune to the fog
The poison, yes.
because they're flying over it and stopping in the only place that doesn't have it.
Yeah, maybe
Taking a
them drinking
breath, so to speak.
Yeah,
So we
maybe them
should
drinking this water.
so we should be safe within the fog, and they need this pond as a wave point because it rejuvenates the things that they're flying on.
You're suggesting that we defend the pond for them.
Well, that would definitely give us some brownie points with them.
How would they know that?
I'm sure it can be communicated in some way, shape, or form when the time comes.
Creatures are very intelligent when it comes down to these kind of things. They'll
And
know.
even if the creatures are skittish, don't they have riders?
Have
Yeah.
you ever seen a bird of prey around blood? A horse?
Well, we don't really know if it's a bird of prey or not. We don't even know if it's a bird.
What about a
It could be
horse?
a griffin. Win looks
Yeah.
so happy now.
Yeah, I'm sure a griffin would be great around fresh spilled blood.
Oh, come on, I've never seen a griffin. It'd be so cool to see a griffin.
Not wrong on this. I've never seen a griffin either. They're very
See?
rare.
Thank you.
I think you're maybe overthinking all of this. I mean, if they really wanted to kill us, they could have done it a long time ago.
Oh.
Excuse me, sir. I've got a question for you. So, if we go ahead and help you, so are you actually going to directly accompany us, or are you going to be spreading out and making sure that we don't encounter any problems on the way?
We are going to be assisting you. Some of us will be moving forward. Others will stay beside you to make sure that you're okay. If we do follow the same line, aka working with each other, we would, assist one another.
I don't feel comfortable capturing one of these creatures and giving them away.
Especially not into the hands of these people. They are criminals. We should not be entertaining this deal.
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement with that.
Eula does state it's not criminal to be a mercenary, but they are breaking laws, which would then it make them criminals, yes.
Did you not hear them literally threaten to kill us unless they were... Anyway.
Is this...
Finder, are
That's
you
what
an
I mean.
adventurer?
My adventure? No.
Well,
And
perhaps
are
I
you-
need to. Perhaps I need to be showing you the math to explain why this is worthwhile. Keep in mind that there's a certain financial incentive here. Does someone have a paper and a pencil?
Yeah, I
Something to
do.
write with? All right, allow me to do the math. So, based on the amount that we're going to, and I start writing, and based on the amount that we're going to be offered per creature, and based on these other incentives, and as I'm doing this and acting like I'm doing math, what I'm really going to write down is we play along, I cast Pass Without Trace, and we run, and then I'm just going to go ahead and just quickly or briefly shove this in each person's face up close. Don't these numbers look pretty good to you?
I
Don't you
feel-
think it's worth this?
I kind of like put your hand down like away from my face.
Little close.
There's a lot of financial incentive here. Don't forget what we're working for.
It works for me. I mean, remember the bottom line.
Yes. Bottom line, big numbers, big numbers. And as you show everyone, you accidentally bump into something. And this guy appears next to you. Yep, big numbers, big betrayal. Immediately, everyone go ahead and roll initiative. And this guy will have a surprise round against you guys.
I knew we spent too much time talking. We should have attacked.
No,
Yeah.
you could have also,
Like-
agreed on things.
Or just
Oh.
run.
Or just run.
How dare our
It's
team
out of the
have
question,
integrity
actually.
for once?
See, this is what we get for being the good guys. Okay.
I know, right? Just
good
because we have a
guys.
badge, natural 20.
Half the team wanted to attack. The other half run. And another half, this is basically 1/3, escape.
Technically, Wynn did want to stay and protect the pawns.
And,
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to fight. I think this isn't a. I mean, I don't understand why Finder was. The first threat of will kill you is. I mean, it's everyday adventuring. You attack back. I was wondering, is there something?
No, I wasn't
Did you
saying
make
like.
another deal with this guy when we weren't around or something?
No, I just said.
I didn't
You said
understand.
where you were an adventurer, and I'm like, no, he's not an adventurer. He spent his whole life in a city. He hasn't gone on grand adventures or anything.
Yeah, it's like
Oh.
Wynn is not an adventurer. She's a florist.
Ah, well, that I understand, but Finder, I was under the impression because we have gone out into the desert before and we came across creatures and we attacked, and that's
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah, just creatures.
Is there something about this guy that you didn't like, or
No,
like,
the-
oh
the-
no, you're gonna
the-
kill us? Okay, I'll back up. It's like, no,
the
Finder.
thing is, creatures and monsters are different from humanoid species.
I'm really trying to.
beings with consciousness and able to communicate.
Yeah, and I'm trying to toe the line between angering a criminal group and just getting Section 9 into more shit.
Oh, okay. So yeah, because Finn wasn't with you, so he doesn't know this is a bigger criminal group.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Anywho,
Yeah,
22,
this is
you
like
say?
Ghosts and Tremors.
However, this man that just appeared out of nowhere does get a surprise round against everyone. Immediately, this guy just comes out, goes, "Yep, big numbers, big betrayal. Hey, boss, these guys are totally gonna betray us." Yeah, that's unfortunately what I assumed. Too bad that they're not as. You know what? I don't have to explain to myself. They clearly don't care. They were gonna do things their own ways. Too bad we couldn't help one another. Would have actually done so, by the way. Just saying. Yep. Gonna stab you now. And immediately heads towards Jemmy and tries to stab him with a short sword. Here's 1d20 plus modifier.
Is this from Persona?
That's from Persona. Immediately. Go ahead.
Persona 5, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Immediately this you don't know, but they have like a hood with ears, kind of like similar to a cat, stabs into you, Jemmy. They would have advantage, so I'm just gonna roll again to see
Well,
it's a
first
natural
one
20.
hit
I don't
anyway.
know. They did a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
time talking.
It's
Yeah,
not a
that was
natural 20.
monologuing right there.
Villains and their monologues.
Jimmy's
Only
like a
worse would've been
poorly
if wearing a cape.
animated.
Yeah.
Jimmy's poorly animated N64 turning around. What?
As this guy stabs you, the boss monologues behind him, saying, "We would have actually helped you, by the way. No betrayal behind that." Well, this man just stabs Jemmy in the back. Well, no, he would be the side because he had to look at the map. Stab for 10 points of damage. It really hurts. He does have a secondary feat, which gives him 2 more additional d6. So another 6 HP. It is slashing damage if you can reduce that. Start of the round, Finder.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, okay, so wait, it was 10 plus 6?
Yes.
Alright, that's weird. Why is, I'm updating it on my character sheet, but
that-
I'm not seeing the
that
token
happens
change.
to me.
There we go.
That happens to me too. I think it's roll 20 beans.
Oh, okay, I see the little thing does, or when I double click on it, it's updated, so...
Okay.
Whatever, that's good enough.
Finder, start of the round. Immediately,
Yeah.
Jemmy's hurt.
Yeah, he does look pretty hurt, doesn't he? Or do I know that? Is he bloodied yet?
He's bleeding a lot. Like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely bloodied.
Alright. I cast Heroism.
On yourself, Jemmy, your snake.
On the one who needs HP, yes, on Jemmy.
Okay.
And I think that will still count. I can get my Steel Defender there, use a bonus action to tell the Steel Defender to attack.
Okay.
Hey.
Jemmy, you gain temporary HP equal to the spellcasting ability modifier. And for Finder,
It's a 5.
you gain 5 temporary HP, Jemmy.
Alright. Now, I have a
Uh,
question. I know that normally temporary hit points are not cumulative. The way that's worded, does that mean I just have 5 for the fight? Because it says that you gain temporary hit points equal to at the start of each turn. So I don't know if that means I'd get another 5 afterwards, or if it just gives me 5 if I don't... I mean, basically just keeps me at 5 temporary hit points.
It keeps you at 5 temporary hit points unless you lost some. And then at the start of your next turn, it goes back up to 5.
Okay.
So if they do more than 5 damage, that goes through, and then it goes back up to 5 temporary HP.
Alrighty.
Okay. Honk does hit.
10 damage.
Nice.
Look at you, little buddy.
Honk just bites into this guy, ragdolling him, stabbing through. So much betrayal. You can stop saying that. We're already going to fight. Just saying.
Do you people not understand how starting a fight works?
Again, I was really hoping we'd work together.
Well,
Find
tell
anything
that
else.
to Tom over there. He really lost you some points.
I don't like any of you, except for maybe her. She at least said please.
Thank you. I wave at him.
I'm not going to try to kill you.
Oh, that's really sweet. Thank you.
Wind, you know he's a liar.
You don't know that for sure.
Are you lying to me?
No,
look really
but I am
sad
going to murder
now.
your friends. You believe that's at least true. Finn, sorry, Finder, anything else?
No, that's... do I need to move? I'm so used to playing not a ranged character. No, I wanna... yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Back at his actual turn, he looks towards Jimmy, looks towards Honk. I don't know what that thing is. Looks mechanical. I'm just gonna kill this guy that has flesh on him. Looks towards Jimmy, unfortunately. Do you mind that?
Well, here's what I was gonna say. I believe that a Steel Defender can use its reaction to impose disadvantage on an attack that happens to creature within 5 feet of it. So I'll use that for Jemmy.
Yes, you're correct. I was going to do that anyways, unless you stated otherwise. However, he did state that to Jemmy.
Yeah, no, and I
Literally
believe I'm
in-game.
within 5 feet of Jemmy.
Yeah, I know. Basically, he did say, I don't know what that is. Looks towards Jimmy. I'm going to kill this fleshy thing. Looks towards Jimmy again. Do you mind that?
You don't even need a map, man. You're just setting the scene perfectly.
No, he's saying, do you mind that? Not, do you mind a map?
You mind giving us a
Disadvantage.
few minutes to deliberate over it, please?
I'm going to stab you. This goes in for a stab. Plus modifier. That is not going to hit, thankfully enough.
Yeah. Why did I even bother?
Disappear! Immediately cast a spell. I'm going to wait for a few seconds to see if anyone has the counter spell.
Do not.
Not a
Vanishes.
third level
This
spell.
It is. Then uses a movement action. As you hear shifting on the ground, you can, Jemmy and Eula can do attacks of opportunities, but they will be at disadvantage.
I'll take them.
Yeah, me too.
Alright, disadvantage.
Eula does hit. Jemmy, unfortunately, you do not hit. She takes like a short sword as well and slashes through the air. 1d8 plus modifier. Oh, that's a good amount of damage. I think that does disperse his invisibility because it's not, greater invisibility. She just cuts through the air and he just appears again.
Nice.
It's rude, miss. You attacked him first. To be fair, we gave you an ultimatum. You attacked him. Just saying. Takes the rest of his movement to break away from the rest of the crowd. The woman in the side goes, Are you guys done yet? Yeah. All right. Begins to cast another spell. And the water behind Finder and Wind begins to curl to cast a wave. Anyone within 10 feet of it will be hit. And I think that's everyone minus Eula. Everyone go ahead and roll for me a dexterity saving throw as a wave of water just begins to try to crash onto your body. Finder, this also includes you and your construct. Unless you're away from the keyboard, then I'll get back to you on this one. Jimmy, you did succeed. Unfortunately, a 4 and a 9 do not. Jimmy, you take half. Everyone else takes the full brunt of 2d6 plus 4.
I would like to use my reaction.
2.
Protective field. So I roll a d6 and add 3. So that would be 9 points of damage reduced to win.
Okay, Finder, go ahead and roll for me a dexterity saving throw. Same with Honk.
A dex saving throw, you say?
As a wall of water begins to crash all over you guys.
That doesn't look good. And Honk. Dex. Honk is fine.
Jimmy and Honk take half. Everyone else takes the full brunt, except for Win, who is reduced down by 9. Everyone does take 8, so Win, you are fine. Jimmy, you take 4. Honk takes 4. That is her turn as she gets a little closer. Eula looks towards the crowd. Who should I go for first? The guy that keeps trying to murder you guys, or the boss?
Take out the spellcaster or the guy that can turn invisible. Seems good.
I agree with that.
Okay. Immediately rushes towards the spellcaster. Takes out short sword, goes in for a slash attack. 16 does hit. That's another D8 plus modifier. Wow, she's rolling really good damage. Slashing through. The caster isn't dead, but they're not doing good.
She wants to make sure she looks good, and
Yeah.
she's representing section 3 here.
Yeah, she's like, join section 3, trips, falls. Comes up.
The metal man behind you guys goes, I honestly have no idea what's going on, but sure. Rushes towards you guys and immediately looks towards Finn, brings out his blade, and goes in for a large crash. Jemmy, you look towards this man and you feel a similar presence to something you've met beforehand. Something in the city, so it's not something of your past. It's not, the woman trying to track you down for some weird reason. But go ahead and roll history. As this slash goes in for Finn.
Wow.
Academic
I know the answer
air
is no,
horns.
but I'm going to say, can I roll expert guidance?
Sure.
I'll not.
14 plus modifier does hit Finn's AC. Finn, to be precise, is just AC 17 or 15? Because they're AC both.
17 currently.
Okay.
I still have Finder's Shield.
It still hits you, but, good to know. Smashing in, Jemmy, you feel a weird sensation of familiarity towards you. This presence, this ambiance, you felt it beforehand. It was from the daughter of, your boss. The one that could copy the very powerful spell. But it's not the same presence. It just feels similar. Almost like a copy of some sort. But it smashes into Finn. Unfortunately, this guy is pretty strong. For 2d10 plus 3 points of damage. So a total of 16 as he smashes into Finn. And unfortunately, at this stage, he can attack twice. Let's hope he misses. He misses. Thankfully. Win.
So this is already looking kind of bad. Okay, so
A little.
Okay, so
Eula's doing good, and I'm gonna try and level it up.
Okay, so we have 2 members that are bloodied already. Okay, so Gwen goes through her bag and brings out a wooden totem and tosses it by her, and she'll say, "Lend us your protection, please," as a spirit of a unicorn appears.
And the unicorn's like, virgins only. Sorry, I have to go.
Gwen still pounds for that.
No. I'm kidding.
But yeah, so this is just a totem.
Huh?
It's my unicorn totem. So yeah, having that unicorn there is actually pretty good. Thank you.
All right.
So 30 feet aura.
30-foot aura.
Okay, so we gain advantage on all ability checks made to detect creatures in the spirit aura. In addition, if you cast a healing spell using a spell slot to restore HP, any creature inside or outside the aura, each creature of your choice within the aura gains HP equal to my druid level.
Damn.
Nice.
Oh, so if you cast a healing spell on one person, you can actually have it affect everybody in the aura. Neat.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, the spell might not affect you, but you guys will still gain a little healing.
Which is good.
All right, so since Finder's right here next to me.
Finn.
Finn.
Yeah, Finn, sorry. I just see FI. I just see FIN.
I know.
Yeah.
Sorry, okay,
Me
so... Shit.
Light hair, dark hair. Light hair, dark hair.
It doesn't help.
All right.
I'm questioning who I can heal first. Who's in more major need.
Looks like Finn's in worse shape.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
logistically, Finn.
Yeah.
I
Jimmy
didn't want to say
should be
anything, but yes,
okay.
please.
Jimmy should be okay, right?
He's also got heroism on him, so he's got temporary hit points every round.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay, so I'm going to cast Cure Wounds. Level 2. So that's 13 points of healing into Finn.
Nice.
What do the rest of us get?
And
yeah.
my allies gain HP equal to my druid level, which is 4. Yeah.
Nice.
All right. People would get healed by a good amount. Nice.
I think that counts for honk. I didn't see anything in the rules that say it doesn't.
Nothing in the rule says it doesn't, and I'm going to allow it.
He still counts as a creature, so.
Construct.
Can be creatures.
Moving along.
Alright, so I guess Win would move over a bit to be safe.
All right. Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I just wanted to check.
Because yeah, bonus action, action. Yeah, I'm good. It was a very productive round for me.
Very much so.
Very,
Finn.
Very nice. Oh, Hadogma, I'm pulling shenanigans again.
You can try.
Just like Kobo. Right
So
here.
you.
Wait, come on. Work.
Mm-hmm.
Right here. This is a big rock. Yes?
Decent size.
Like maybe a ton. You know, 4, 5 feet tall. Looks like maybe 5 to 7 feet wide. It's a big rock.
It's a good sitting rock.
Explain your
Okay.
plans with this rock, sir.
Well, from my understanding, something that's technically large is 4 squares, right? This rock is big and heavy, but it's not 4 squares.
Explain
so
your
it falls-
plan, Mr. Finn.
It falls within my ability to telekinetically move the rock up to 30 feet. So he's 15 feet away now. I'm
What
gonna
is
pick
the
this rock up.
exact? What's the weight limit on telekinesis?
It's not telekinesis, it's telekinetic movement, and it specifically says you can move an object or creature with your mind as long as an action. You target one loose object that is large or smaller. It doesn't say weight, it says size.
Yeah,
It's not
and it also
loose.
says loose. Yeah. All right.
That rock's not just sitting on the ground.
It's like buried in it by a bit. Like not like a foot deep, but it is like buried in it.
I should be able to just pick that straight up.
What's the weight limit on this spell? If there is one.
There is none. Hold on.
What level is this?
There
spell?
is no weight limit. It says a large or smaller object.
Reduce ward one long bonus action. You can heal one creature.
No, that's healing light. Sorry, I clicked the wrong thing. There we go.
You can move an object or a creature you found in mind. Target is one loose object. This is a large, smaller, or willing creature other than yourself. If you can see the target and it's within 30 feet of you, you can move it up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see. Alternatively, it is a tiny object. You can move it from your hand. Either way, you can move the target horizontally, vertically, or both. Once you take this action, you can't do so again until you finish a short, long rest, unless you expand a psychic energy die to take it again. So what are you trying to do?
I want to pick up this large rock here.
You can move it.
Vertically
Yes.
or horizontally, not both.
Yes.
So you can
Yes,
lift
both,
it
or both.
straight up. No,
No, it says both.
or both.
You can-
You're right.
Yeah, or both. And I'm going
You're
to
right.
pick this rock up. I'm going to move it 30 feet into the air and 15 feet that way.
That is too much movement.
No, it's not. It's only 15 feet.
You said 30 feet into the air and then 15 feet that way.
Okay, then 15 feet.
Only
30,
like
30
20
feet
feet
that
up
way.
would probably work.
All right, 20 feet up and 15 feet over.
It is still
It's
too
still
much, but I'm going to say
35.
you do the math correctly.
Well, because it's an angle, we're not going straight up and straight over like a knight in a chess game. We're actually
You
angled.
curve it. Yeah, sure.
Okay, but it'll be. What'd you say, Jemmy? 20 feet in the air, which is an unoccupied space.
Yeah. Yeah, actually,
And then-
20 feet up and 15 over. I just did the math. That's actually 25 feet on the hypotenuse. So that's actually within the 30 feet. In fact, he could do that diagonally and go up one.
Oh my god, you guys.
That works. So it's 25 feet in the air above him, which is an unoccupied space, and then
I assume
release.
you drop the rock. Yes.
And then I release.
All right.
You guys are fucking nerds.
As a reaction, he grabs onto you and pulls you in with it.
Wait a second.
What?
As a reaction, he can move me 5 feet.
He can grapple you.
As a reaction.
How?
All right. In that case.
You don't know, but he does have a feat that can do that.
Okay. Let me think for a second.
You don't technically know, I should say. Sorry, Wen.
Die.
You will have, like, an opposed check, by the way, Finn. He doesn't just automatically do it. But, you know, I'll wait to see if you have something.
Does this count as an ability check?
Yes.
Then he gains advantage.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that because the only other thing I have is a telekinetic shove, and I don't know if I can telekinetically shove myself.
But yeah, at
Mm.
least because you're in the unicorn's aura, you gain advantage.
The light
For
of
you,
the unicorn shines upon you.
Finn, for you,
Yes.
it'd be an athletics or acrobatics check. You gain advantage thanks to the unicorn. Way to go, Finn. Sorry, way to go, Win.
Thank you. Okay, so his reaction is to try and grapple me, and I will up to me. 24.
Okay,
pretty
he
good.
just needs to beat that. His bonus is unfortunately a +7, so he just needs to roll lower than you.
Oh,
That is,
That's not right.
That's not right.
That's
it'd be the
not
13, so that'd be 21. You succeed.
Okay.
I don't know why there was 2 d20, but whatever. You do so, pick up the big rock. He tries to move you in. The rock begins to fall. He is going to have a chance, to move and take half damage. But you know that's still going to be a good amount of damage still.
Yeah,
Didn't he
a
just
big
use
heavy
his-
rock falling 25 feet. It's going to
Didn't
be
he
major
just use
damage.
his reaction to
He
grapple?
did just use his reaction. You're right.
A save is not a reactional thing.
Oh.
Because you can multiple saves if people keep targeting you with like
Oh,
spells and stuff.
I thought he was using another reaction to lessen the damage. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. No, that's fine. He tries to move. Finn, what's your spell save DC?
Just a second. I'm looking that up right now because I thought that was. It's saying an 8 plus my.
Before you tell me, he did get an
plus my
18.
Intelligence. Okay. 8 plus my proficiency is 10. 15.
Okay. I just wanted to tell you beforehand in case I say, oh, and he passed. Because it feels a little cheaty there. I'll tell you there. His dex isn't the best, but it's also decent. That's a good amount of weight still, though. So he like gets brushed heavily by the rock, but doesn't get squashed. Roll 3d10.
Okay.
He'll take half of that as it like brunts him to the side. And Jemmy, as that happens, you'll see that this man's eyes begin to glow underneath the mask. And when you also see this, but you don't know why it looks familiar. Because you've never seen this beforehand. Jimmy has. Finn, anything else? Because it is still your turn.
Yeah. Let's see. That was my action.
You can move away, by the way. I'm just stating because he used a reaction to try to grapple you.
Yeah, I was thinking. So this rock is here right now, and he's pinned under it. He's just got a leg under it. He just got hit with it and got out of the way.
He just got hit with it.
Okay.
He succeeded, so he didn't get pinned anywhere. Unfortunately.
I will move. Shoot, is there anywhere good to move? No. I'll actually take one step this way, readying for his next. Well, no, there's a big rock in the way. No, I'll just stay there. My bonus action will be healing light. So that will be 6 plus 3 is 9 points.
Nice.
And that'll be it. I still have my reaction, but that's it.
Okay. Big Boss Man just looks towards you guys. Seems like you're trying to kill us. All right, gang, don't hold any punches. He looks towards the man with the mask. You yourself, have fun with your new gifts. All right, will do. You seem the most annoying. Looks towards Finder. I'm gonna attack you.
What?
Takes out a javelin. Again, no hard feelings, but you don't want to work with us, which is the main reason why you're attacking you. And like launches a volley straight towards you.
Do we get to see where this guy is now?
He was never hiding.
Yeah, he's down there at
He's
the
not
bottom
on
of the
the field.
circle.
Oh, okay. No,
He's
it's just
right
my
here.
monitor. Yeah, my monitor wasn't zoomed out enough.
So these trees. This is the bottom guy, so I don't get any sort of cover.
It's
from
like
this?
a bush.
Oh.
He did roll 12 though.
Yeah.
Launching straight towards you, it gets caught up in the bush and like stays there. Well, that's unfortunate. All right, give me a second. I need to get closer to you.
I mean,
Goes through the
maybe-
bush.
Maybe that's like a sign of things to. Oh, you're still trying to kill me.
Yes.
Maybe don't. It could
Free item
Wait.
interaction brings out a standard sword. Again, you should really express this beforehand. We could have maybe made a deal of some sort, but things
Well,
are how they are.
That's the
Unfortunately-
mind writing guy we did earlier. We wanted to consult our bosses, but it's literally been one day. Ah, he's stabbing me.
It's been more than a day, Mr. Finder.
You understand to time crunches?
Yes, and by that time you could have spoken with your boss and come back to me. As he tries to stab you again, that does hit with his bonus.
What's his bonus?
Plus 8.
Okay, well, how about this? 17 is my AC.
That does hit with his bonus.
Alright.
That'd be 21.
Ow, what? Ow!
He deals 1d10 plus 8 points of damage. 10.
Jeez, alright.
Right. Oh, wait, what am I doing? I really should listen to myself. He uses his bonus action to switch out weapons and switches out with a non-standard blade. It's not opalescent, onyx black. Again, I really should stop holding it back. I should, I'm the boss, need to make sure that I follow my own strict code. Jimmy.
This is what I get for using my reaction to help other people on the team.
Who's the dang it. Out of the enemies, who's the one that looks the most heavily injured?
That would be the caster. Which is, well, you don't know if any other people are casters, but that would be the redhead.
Alright.
This one also took damage from Eula.
It would be the
This
redhead.
one took damage from me, and this one is not yet damaged.
Well, given the range restrictions, as much as I want to deal with these guys, actually, first let me get my temporary hit points back up to 5. I am going
welcome.
to.
Wait, is that a concentration spell? I ask myself, sorry.
That's a good point.
It didn't say it was.
Yeah, well, that's because I wrote it down.
Let's see. Geez, that's
Yeah, I have to roll concentration. Sorry.
have at it.
I believe it's half the damage or 10, whichever is higher.
Not 20. You're good.
You're fine.
All right. Okay. Jeez. Yeah, think you can finish off that caster? Talking
Who
to
you
Finder.
talk-
Potentially?
Who are you talking to, Finder?
Yeah.
I haven't shot him before or anything. He looks pretty okay. This guy's hurting me a lot, though.
I'm going to go ahead and reach across to Finder, and I'm going to cast Cure Wounds.
It's a party and everyone's invited.
Actually, I'm gonna cast that at level 2. Alright, so it looks like you should gain back 15, 16, 19 hit points.
19 hit points. That puts
That's
me at.
good.
Yeah, that's
That's
including
plus
wins
one.
for bonus.
Mm-hmm.
And that should top off Finn, if I'm understanding this right, and that should also give me an extra 4.
That is
All
an
right.
awesome unicorn.
All right. I think that's oh, that was an action. That's really all I can do. It's really gonna hurt.
Tom from the background just states,
What happened to my turn?
"Win from the back." What? Huh. You did go, didn't you? You cast the unicorn. You healed.
Wasn't that last turn?
No, I think
No,
it's
we're just
been
getting
a very
through
long
round one.
turn.
This is
been a
the first
minute.
time I got to go, and I'm at
Oh,
the
okay.
bottom of the initiative order.
You're just taking
I
a
went.
bit.
I went first,
Oh,
and this is,
This is.
and I still haven't even gone twice yet.
Okay,
All
I'm
you're
sorry.
about to.
For some reason, I thought it was a new turn.
That's
I
fair.
mean, a new round.
It's been a while. Tom looks towards his boss. No holding back? No holding back. And they're also using a good amount of healing magic. Let's try to reduce them down. Okay. Sprint straight towards Finn. Gonna kill him, gonna kill him, gonna kill him. Grabs out 2 daggers and tries to stab you in the face. Thankfully enough, there's no disadvantage here because Honk is helping out Jemmy.
It's been a long round.
It's been a long round. Going to try to stab in. Because there's an ally 5 feet next to the target, he does gain an advantage on his attack. 22. That's 1d6 plus 7 points of damage as he slashes in. And then he's using his rogue feat to just do an additional 2d6 sneak attack.
Curiosity, what's he slashing with?
2 daggers.
Okay.
And very good daggers.
I was gonna call out those blunted claws if he was going bare-fisted there.
That is a total of 20 damage towards you, Finn.
You
As
put
he
a
just-
guy in an easy to escape from jail, and this is what the recompense you get.
He tried to declaw me.
Not all of us.
I said him
We also
specifically.
kindly didn't kill you then. We'll change that this time.
Again, we're out on the field. That's not murder. It was only murder if you did it in your office. That's just weird.
We were in the field the first time, you idiot.
You're dumb. Using a
dumb
bonus
fool.
action to do something you don't know outside a game, he's using his bonus action to take the defensive stance.
It's like, this is getting really awkward.
Finder, go.
One of the most awkward combats ever.
So much banter in the combat.
So, DM, remind me about ranged weapons, because this is the first time I've used a character that used them.
If they're right next to you, disadvantage.
And if someone is right next to me and I still shoot someone that's not right next to me, we're cool.
Like if you're attacking the caster, let's say,
Yep.
that's still fine.
Alright. So we're going to attack the red-haired caster that's beside Eula.
Mhm.
Eh. Kapow. Well, then we're gonna have Honk as a bonus action attack the guy right beside me.
Okay. That unfortunately does not hit.
All right. So it seems like I'm not doing much. Do I want to move? Let me see. Get away. How deep does this well of water seem?
Knee high.
Knee high? Alright, screw it. Yeah, I'm gonna take a step back into the... Yeah. What I'm gonna do.
Okay. Yeah, sure. He'll use his reaction to attack you.
Yeah, and I'm gonna use Honk's reaction to disadvantage.
So you're no longer targeting Jemmy, you're targeting yourself?
It's the creature's reaction, so I can only do it once a turn, but it resets on my turn, right?
Yeah, it should.
So yeah,
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Okay. That is +8. And disadvantage,
mhm.
16.
17 is what you need.
Yeah. He slashes in with the Onyx Blade, and you just move fast enough while Honk, like, wiggles in the area, causing him to lose momentum.
Wiggles in the area. It's a straight up defense snake, built like a cobra with its hood and shield and defending and stuff. Anyway, that's
He
my
wiggles.
turn.
Hits the blade to the side while he wiggles. Uh,
Oh,
Next.
and because Honk has movement. There.
okay. Anything else?
Did Honk attack?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a miss.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the 15. Yeah, we're done.
Okay. The man in the hood of Cat looks towards you guys. Looks towards Yula, looks towards Jemmy and the rest of the gang. Okay. He said not to hold back anymore. Item interaction takes out a different short sword. Looks towards Eula. You there, how are you with poisons? More or less okay with them. Good enough for me. Goes in to try to strike towards her. One guy next to him has advantage on the attack. 12 plus modifier does hit, unfortunately.
You couldn't let us have a 1, could
8 plus modifier does hit. She needs to make a con save. 3 plus modifier does not hit, but she does have advantage, I think, thanks to the unicorn. I could be wrong.
On saves? Yeah. Right?
Saves or ability
Yeah.
checks? Or both? Alright, 2 people said yes, I'm just gonna go with it.
Let's roll.
Does succeed. So that poison doesn't fully take effect. She's fine. She still takes half the poison damage though, but is not underneath the condition. So it takes half. However, that is not done yet because the sneak attack damage still procs. 6 more. Eula's not looking that great, but she's still standing.
Did you
Caster.
remember to heal her up fully after every time that we
Yes.
healed? Okay.
Yeah.
Nurses.
The caster looks towards Eula. No offense, don't mean to kill you, but boss said not to hold back anymore. I still take offense to this. I suppose you should. Looks towards you guys. Looks towards the team. I could actually probably maybe get... Yeah, I can get some of you. Yes, but she will either have to hit Tom or her boss. Looks towards her boss. Oh no, she has meta magic, so she can divert against her boss. Boss, don't freak out, but an electro bolt is just about to go through you. Don't worry about it. Sure. Eula, Jemmy, Win, go ahead and roll for me dexterity saving throws because of the unicorn at advantage.
With that particular meta magic, it just gives them the ability to take a half damage. They'd still have to roll.
Okay, cool.
I've had that ability before. It didn't work like I wanted it to either.
Both of you do succeed. And he also succeeds, so
He'll take no damage then.
yeah. A lightning bolt bursts in the air, cracking through, dealing 8d6 points of lightning damage. You did succeed, so you only take half. But that's still 8d6.
You heard it here. Yeah. You heard it here first, kids. Stand in the water if you don't want to get hit by lightning.
Wait. Who all did that hit?
Eula, Jemmy, Win. Actually, I didn't roll for Eula. Eula. Sorry, I said your name because I was answering you. Win, Jemmy, and Eula.
Okay.
How much damage did we take?
Oh, I was wondering if Finn was doing something. You can.
Yeah, I'm
it has
gonna-
been your turn, but you
I'm gonna use a reaction.
potentially take 28.
And making
I'm
the
going
save,
to-
what happens?
You take half.
Okay.
Dude, that's a lot of damage.
It's a lot.
Okay, so that'll be 14.
Be 14.
I would like to
I'm
use
using my reaction. Oh, go ahead. Do your thing first.
I'm gonna use my reaction. I think this works. Let me check. Yeah, I'm gonna use absorb elements.
Yeah, it would work. You take 13.
Oh no.
No, it's supposed to give me resistance.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why it. I don't know why. Oh, that's because
On your
I
next attack,
gain
you
on my next melee attack, but that doesn't matter because I'm not attacking.
Okay.
But yeah, so
Then you take 7.
7.
Jemmy, you take 14. Eula's down.
I want to use my reaction.
Yes.
It's 1d6 plus 3, 5. She has 8 less points.
Who has...
Eula.
Eula.
Oh. Unfortunately, that is still going to take her down.
So that was completely ineffective.
You can maybe bring her back, but she is still down. She unfortunately got very hurt. And yeah,
Only
she
we
did
had
heal,
some magic water nearby.
but she's still
Hmm.
down. Not so much that she auto dies, but enough that she's still down on the ground. But that's the caster, and they've expended one of their highest spell slots. Eula makes a death saving throw. That's a 4. The guy next to you, fighting towards you, looks and states, "All right. Sorry about this, I guess, but you did it first." Looks towards the rock, extends his hand out, lifting it, and then tossing it straight towards you. Finn, go ahead and roll for me a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
Number to beat is 15.
22.
Nice. You only take half, which is 3d10. You take 5 points of damage as the rock just hits you in your side and is now over here. Alright, less effective than I thought. That's their bonus action feat, and then they're just going to try to slash into you. Ooh, that is the wrong number.
Holy flock!
Well, now.
I still had
There's
the
something a
modifier.
little unbalanced here.
I still had the modifier for the lightning. 12 doesn't hit you, so you move to the side. This man does have 2 attacks, though. 18 does hit you, so that's 1d10. As 16 damage goes into you, and you are also down. You have already
Can
used your
I-
reaction.
Yeah. Shit.
But it is
don't
Wynn's
have
turns next.
Yep, I don't have anything else. My reaction's gone.
That's his turn. Wynn.
Okay, so seeing 2 people go down,
And Jimmy's also not looking so great.
yeah, so this may be
A lot tougher than I had
this
thought.
this could be a TPK here. Okay, so shit.
Like,
Wynn is what?
I was just gonna say, like they're willing to work with you. They're just attacking because you were more or less going to betray them.
Oh, that didn't happen.
Yeah,
I
got
was
trying to read it.
Title of today's episode: Jemmy ruins everything.
It was a misclick. Wynn is going to look towards Eula and necrotic energy starts to swirl around there and burst as everything begins to wither.
Are you murdering your teammate?
No, I am not.
He says, not at all convincingly.
Those 2 people, however, need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Ooh, that's a nice spell.
Wither and Bloom. Oops. Both death, sphere, point of range, each creature of your choice. Good. You can exclude her. Con save, take 2 necrotic damage. Vegetation in the area with us. Cool. Necrotic.
I would like to aim it so where I won't really affect the vegetation as much as I can.
Roll Arcana.
Well, it's literally point and click. I can point it in the air.
I will allow it, but it expressly states it kills the vegetation in the area. I'll allow it, though. It's more fun that way. A burst of necrotic energy blooms in the air, missing the vegetation in the area. As the 2 people, Hooded Man, Caster succeeded, Hooded Man did not. As necrotic energy just bursts in the area. You can tell it did affect both of them, still taking half damage. The caster is not looking that great. They cannot probably take another hit, even with half damage. But the Hooded Man is more or less okay. They tumbled in the exact same area. They didn't move, but they're looking towards you. Yeah, okay.
Eula will able to regain HP by spending unspent hit dice.
She's unconscious.
She can still spend. This is the form of healing. It's just a form of healing with a spell. Just instead of me rolling or she takes X amount, she just uses her own hit dice.
Yeah, I get that. That's just
she's still
weird
alive.
if it's you're unconscious, but I understand it. I'll do it.
Although, for what it's worth, if we get to roll hit dice when we're taking a short rest and we get all our hit points back during a long rest, it is kind of something that we're not really consciously doing.
I already said I'm allowing it.
Yeah. I just explaining a potential rationale.
Yeah.
And since this is still a form of healing. All allies gain 4 HP.
We
So-
already got it.
So that brings Finn back up.
Eula, I guess,
Alright.
heals for 14. She's conscious but on the ground. She only has one more hit die left.
What was that? 4 hit points?
Yeah, and all allies gain 4 HP.
Alright.
I suppose she would have done this on her turn, so let's say that happened. Okay, that was your action.
Second bonus action.
Still have bonus action, and you still have movement.
Yes. I will like it to. I guess I'll use a healing word on Finn. Oh, wait, do you allow multiple spells?
Yes, dependent on what spells.
Well, this is just going to be a healing word.
Is healing word a bonus action spell?
Yes.
You're good.
Okay, so Finn gets 7 HP, and we all again heal for 4.
Thank you.
You heal Finn, and the residual energy bounces off and hits everyone else. Captain looks towards you. You're problematic. You're quite good at your job, by the way. If you betray these guys or, help us out, would be willing to, spare your life, give you cash for the objective completion.
Well,
But that
I really tried to be good at my job, and I am under contract already.
Fair enough. Respect someone that, respects their word.
Question: does Finn get healed by that extra 4 too?
I don't think so.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah, I already added it.
Okay, so you gained the 7, and then you gained the extra 4, right?
I have to read
Yeah,
this spell.
Because I had 4 hit points, and then I gained another 4 hit points, which is 8, and then 7, so 15 total.
Okay.
I have to read
Still
this
a big
spell.
help. Big
It-
help.
Not a spell; it's an ability.
I have to read this ability. Let's say it's this for now because this feels weird.
Here, I'll read it in its entirety. The unicorn spirit lends its protection to those nearby. You and your allies gain advantage on all ability checks made to detect creatures in the spirit's aura. In addition, if you cast a spell using a spell slot that restores HP to any creature inside or outside the aura, each creature of your choice in the aura also regains HP equal to your druid's level. So yes, Finn is also included.
Okay. However, when Eula healed herself, that wasn't a spell or a spell slot.
It does come from the spell though. It's a damage and heal spell. So
yeah,
it still
but
uses
Eula's,
it.
from what you said, she could roll her hit
Yeah,
dice.
but she only
Yeah,
is able to
that's
do
just the
that through
regulation.
the spell.
Yeah, that's just how it's regulated. She has to use one of her hit dice. So if it's a fighter, they can get a D10. If it's a wizard, they get a D6. That's how they modify the amount of healing. But that was still triggered by a spell. So that still falls under the spell casting.
But she can only do that because of the spell.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to get a lawyer on this.
Yeah, no, I didn't hear anything where the hit dice didn't come in on the spell. If you heal someone, then everyone in the aura gets +4 because that's your druid level, right?
Yeah.
That's it. That's what the spell does. Doesn't have anything to do with hit dice, or it has to be a spell that restores hit dice. Like it can't be temporary HP, and it has to be a spell. Okay, I'm done talking.
But yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's it for when. I feel like things are gonna be talking in a her now. I'm scared.
The boss already said, what he said. You should.
Man, I'm scared.
Finn.
Finn flees from battle. Finn returns to battle.
Coward!
Will you hear me now?
Yes.
The brave
people hear
Sabrok
me
that
now?
runs away.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Sorry. Lost audio. Okay.
That's your
up.
story, huh?
I'm up. I am going to attack Disa guy, the metal-faced guy, and my attack. I don't get advantage or anything because no, that's not the aura.
If you have a friendly rock within 5 feet
17
of
does
you,
hit.
All right, 17 does hit for, and I'm gonna add to this. That's 11 points of damage plus go up here minus 1 side die. Okay, plus 1d6 plus 3. So 3 plus 3 is another 6 points of damage. So that's 15, 16, 17 points of damage total on my first swing on this guy.
You do so, slashing and piercing into him. He takes a good amount of the slashing damage. Like, you can tell you pierced in, but it surprisingly enough didn't hurt him as much as you wanted. He didn't cry out in pain. The psychic damage pierces in, and you can tell that did the full brunt. But as that happens, Jemmy and Win, you see that weird glow again.
Okay, I am going to, as a bonus action, use Second Wind, giving me d10 plus 3. So that's 9. Hold on. 24. Okay. That was that. And the bonus action, I'm going to action surge, swinging over at Tom with a 24 to hit,
24 does hit.
doing 14 points of damage plus 1d6 plus 3. So that's another 4 points of damage.
The piercing damage slashes through. He quickly uses his own skills to take half of that damage using his rogue ability. And then you pierce in with the remaining 4, and that doesn't count as physical. So it takes the full brunt.
And my bonus action attack on Tom again.
11 does not hit.
Okay. That is everything I've got. I'm holding my reaction.
All right. Boss looks towards Finder to the state. All right, you can be in the water if you want. I'm sorry about this. He did, make you the target. Looks towards Jemmy.
I'm rather feeling like perhaps negotiations could be opened again. I understand a strong bargaining position.
He looks towards you. Does everyone agree to this? Miss
I think
Willow,
Finder makes a good point.
Finder. Just you two?
Everybody, you heard Jemmy. Anybody else want to weigh on all this?
Well, I really don't care for much violence, so
So do you agree to work with us? Without looks towards Jemmy, betraying.
Well, so that you might want to consider the fact that running away is hardly a betrayal in the grand scheme of things, especially after being attacked multiple times. Don't push your luck here.
I can still attack you, Mr. Jemmy. You
And
don't have to give me
likewise, so
sense.
can we. I'm willing to bargain in good faith. Just watch your tongue while you do it.
Why do we keep letting him talk?
well, you did give him the floor, so really your fault.
All right, here's the deal. We work with each other. No one runs away from one another. No one backstabs one another. That includes my team, looks towards Tom, and no more attacking their team. So long as we have this deal met. If anyone
And if
from our team attacks you or vice versa, it's everyone else's responsibility to stop them. Agreed.
and
See to it that you keep control of Tom. After all, if you'd previously made a bargain to keep us alive, and Tom has already violated it, it seems like the treachery was there first.
There was no agreement beforehand. I offered an agreement to Finder, and
Sounded like you had an
Other man.
agreement from before.
there was none. I offered one. He did not agree to it, one way or the other. In fact,
there
he
was a lot going on.
left me in my area for about a day, and that assumption just means that they did not agree to it. Either way,
Well,
Mr.
fine.
Jemmy,
Keep Tom far, far away from us, and you have yourself a deal.
I included the second stipulation, so if Tom does attack, it is also our responsibility to stop him. Finder, you were saying, though.
I think you've covered most of it, honestly. We're not trying to harm each other. We won't get in each other's way.
And we will help each other in our endeavors. We can worry about the morality later, when it happens, if it happens.
We're just trying to get by.
We agree on this? His team does not. What about your guys' team? Eula
I
will
agree.
go with the majority.
I agree.
Aye.
Well, if I'm being completely honest, I really don't want to capture one of these creatures, but I'll do my best to keep everyone safe. I
Again,
even turned down the offer from our own organization to do so.
Miss Wynn, we can worry about the morality later. Our initial things aren't to outright attack you, just to acquire information. Yes, we did accost Mr. Finder the first time we met him, believing he was part of another branching force. However, now that we know he is not, he is also working with all of you. We will no longer attack you so long as we hold a truce between all of us.
I'm just seeing where I stand. I'm willing to assist in any way I can, but I will not help in capturing the creature.
Again, if these beasts can be negotiated with, or if these creatures have some, as when I read Mr. Finder's mind, riders riding them, we will negotiate first. We do not attack first. Looks towards Tom. Minus him.
Well, if, if it's in all fair dealings and they're willing, then that's another thing.
He nods. Looks towards Finn.
All right.
No, he says that, but if they don't consent, then that's not the end of the story.
He says we can negotiate then and there. He just agrees to not attack first. He will try to negotiate first, and then if that fails, we can worry about the morality later. We can discuss new terms. Which is not to say he will immediately attack them. But he does look towards Finn. And you?
Finn silently sheaths his sword.
Yes or no? You cannot just be silent in this.
I
That is the consent
think
of the party.
think he's acting up again. But he did say he'll go with majority, right?
Eula
Yeah,
did
I
say
wasn't
majority.
acting up. I was sheathing my sword. I was putting it away
Ah.
in agreement with the rest of the party. I just didn't want to say it out loud.
He does say yes or no. You have to vocalize this. Very well then.
Yes, Finn says really quietly.
The guy next to you nods towards his commander. Very well then.
Yeah, I would have say it.
More or less, yeah. Good. Does everyone else agree on my team? And each one of them does vocalize this. Thank you. If you don't go ahead.
Can you tell your team that's here to step closer in?
He looks towards them. Nods. They move in.
I cast fireball. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Force, everyone run.
I'm going to. Who looks more hurt, Finn or Eula?
Eula for sure. Or if you include their team, the redhead. So much.
Okay, you know what? I'll walk up to the spellcaster. In all fair dealings. Hi, I'm Wen. May I? And I
He
offer my
reads
hand.
people's minds without consent.
Again, thought you were a different faction. My apologies.
I offer my hand to the redhead.
The redhead doesn't read minds. The captain did. The redhead's
Okay.
just a caster.
I thought the redhead would. All right. Never mind.
No, you've
I
never
rescind my
seen
catty
the
comment.
you've never
Anyways,
seen the face of the guy that read your mind. Yes, Win. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's like I'm offering my hand to the redhead. You look badly hurt.
Yeah, Rose, by the way, looks towards the captain. The captain does nod. She extends her hand out.
It's nice to meet you, Rose. And I'll gently grab her
Mhm.
hand and place another hand in the middle of her chest, and I will cast Cure Wounds. And then, sorry. And everybody within the aura, including the other team, will regain 4 HP.
People begin to heal up, and by the time this is also done, they also drink health potions. They did have health potions, by the way. They had plenty of time to get that.
We would have got him.
The captain does look towards you guys. All right, then. And then looks towards Finn. Apologies for being blunt on the matter of vocally stating so. If you did not, people often and not in this trade or in this life say, oh, I didn't agree to it. I didn't say anything. Stab.
That I can understand. This place is less honest than what I'm used to.
Again, cutthroat world out there, Mr. Finn. There are only so many cities within this forbidden zone that are actually livable.
I like my kind of world. It's less cutthroat.
Mine too. But, have to pay the bills. Have to take care of my family now, don't I?
Oh, you have a family?
2 lovely kids and a wife.
Aww.
This guy saying, My world is thus cutthroat is the biggest insight check ever.
You can roll insight if you want.
I bet they're just adorable.
To me, yes. They're in the weird, awkward stage where they kind of look a little ugly to other people. But, you know, I'm the parent, so I have to say that they're beautiful. Which I do think so, honestly. But, you know,
Well, and really, that's the only opinion that matters.
that is correct.
If you say they're beautiful, then I believe they're beautiful too.
Thank
Give
you.
him a smile.
He was gonna murder us.
Again,
But
Mr.
we're on-
Finder.
But we're on the same team now.
True.
It wouldn't do us any good to hold any more hostility towards each other when we're trying to work together. That's why I wanted to heal Rose here to show that it's all good now.
Thanks, by the way.
Oh, you're welcome.
The
But now
captain...
that we're
Go ahead, Finder.
go, Captain. Go, Captain. Go.
Go, Captain, go. Captain does state. All right, then. We will wait here, assisting with everything we can. Taking this short rest. You guys can heal with whatever short rest you can do until these supposed beasts do arrive. And again, apologies for the not misunderstandings. We were doing our job, but for the way we did our job towards you all. Is
Well,
this...
thank you for apologizing.
Yes. Again, we're now part in the same group. So we have to work together as peacefully as possible.
Yes.
Looks
And
towards
I'm
Tom.
gonna- And I'm gonna go to Eula because she expended her hit dice, so I'm gonna heal her up.
Yeah, she only had one more. You heal her for 6 points of damage, and she will expend her last hit die for 7.
And I'll do an extra 7. And everyone in the aura gains basically 8 HP.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't even have to use one.
People begin to
So
heal
look
up
at that.
to a good
Is-
extent.
Is everyone alright now?
Captain does say, fine.
Yes, the
Uh,
unicorn is very helpful.
Yes, thank you. I guess. Yeah, pretty much. The I guess was Tom. The swordman does state, yes, very much so, thank you.
Silently
At
in
least
your
that looks
head,
like it
you-
shouldn't scar.
Now,
Silently
before
in
we
your
go
head-
on,
oh, sorry,
it's
go ahead.
very important that all of you and the Red Scorpions let us interact with the native people of the forest before you, because the last time you interacted with them, you tried to kill one of them out of nowhere.
Looks towards Tom. I mean, I was gonna get to that part. Right. I suppose I can agree on those terms.
Okay.
To at least be a little bit more kind.
What was Finn trying to say?
Oh, I was gonna say, just silently in your head, you hear, "Thank you. I feel much better."
Is this one of the things that I can reply back to?
Yeah.
No problem. Thanks for protecting me.
Of course. Always.
Eula, are you doing okay now?
Yeah, unfortunately, it did go down for a bit there. Thanks for, surviving and keeping me up.
Like I said, it's what I'm here for.
Again, job offer.
You're never gonna give up until I say yes. aren't
Honestly,
you?
yes, you're very good at healing.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming by, Eula, but does our, just trying to usher her out of here, like, stop sniping my new competent team member. Does our newfound alliance with the Red Scorpions allow this party member of ours passage back to the city?
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
That's a good question. If we
Are
go
your
ahead
people going to attack her?
She was not
If she goes
She was
intentionally
part of the
leaving.
agreement. I am not
Is there
gonna
any-
randomly attack a civilian.
So is
fair.
there something, an armband or a marker that she can have
Well,
for safe passage?
Finder, technically she's staying with us until we go back.
That's correct,
I
unless
thought she
he
was
wants me
gonna
to.
leave right after getting the liquid.
No, because we're supposed to transport it back, and she's just here to make sure we do.
Ah, okay. Never
Yes,
mind.
as
You
well as to make
guys
sure the
really,
potions work.
like, you guys really need to pay attention when other people are talking.
It really sounds like they want to get rid of me, but okay.
I like you here.
Thank you.
Just
The captain does state she is part of this agreement. Mr. Finder, we won't immediately just randomly attack someone. Looks towards Tom, minus him. Again, was a hire into the group. Should really vet people better, I suppose. She won't just be accosted because she is not from your section team. Even then, we had a general understanding with you, the former Section 9 team before yours. Until they spread out and did doing their own things.
you, of course, understand our caution. Glances at Tom.
What? Yes, very much so.
And just for clarification, if we go ahead and follow through with good faith and we have an amicable conclusion to this deal, after the conclusion of it, we are still safe? No foul play?
So long it's not a different mission and you somehow get involved in it, then yes.
It's been 1 minute. I think the unicorn goes away.
Unicorn disappears. That lasted quite a long time. Again, Miss Wen, if you're ever
We all
looking for a job.
We all start trying to brush sequins and glitter off us. It'll be there for days.
What did the captain say?
Again, Miss Wen, if you're looking for a job.
Oh, thanks. That's really nice.
I
I offered first.
I guess you guys are going to be competing.
Not until the mission's complete. And again, if we do manage to succeed with all of our endeavors, I still will pay you. That is still on the table. And even if you do not complete yours, I will still pay you if we complete ours.
Wynn goes up and picks up her totem and puts it back in her bag.
You do so.
Well, since we're all friendly now, I'm gonna go around and take some samples of the surrounding area.
Of course.
Because I don't know if you guys noticed, but things are a little different around here.
Quite right. Understandable as well.
Do you want one of your members to come with me, just in case to make sure I don't run away?
It's perfectly alright, Miss Wen. Again, so long as you are being honest, we have no reason to doubt your words.
Alright.
I can help if you like. I'm actually rather skilled in nature.
Oh, that'd be great. Oh, Eula, you want to come too?
Sure, I suppose.
Come on, it's collecting samples around here. You said you didn't ever go this deep before.
That is true.
And I really want to compare it to the other samples we took from earlier within the fog.
Sure. You guys begin to collect some more samples while you guys wait. By the time you do get back, it is getting closer to the... hang on, I got a message. Okay. You collect samples, and by the time you get back, you can tell that the captain does state he looks at a weird contraption he has on his hand. In all expressive purposes, it is more or less like a watch. He does state, all right, it's around the time that they're supposed to be arriving based off of our time frame. All right. The winged riders are supposed to be here soon, so with everything you've collected or gathered, let's hope for the best.
Okay, and I also wanted to collect the feathers too.
Roll a d8. You were able to find 7 others
Yes.
while roaming.
Nice.
Finn, you found one. You found one a while ago. You just go back and collect it.
Well, I was contemplating looking for some right before the encounter happened, so
That's-
I guess.
True. Jimmy, roll a d8.
All right.
I know you didn't say anything. You just said they could be here.
Oh, I love the idea of Finder just in the pool being like, what? It's nice.
Jimmy, you find 3. The winged riders are arriving soon, but what you find may not be, or might be, exactly what you thought they'd be. But we have to figure that one out next time, as we end the session for today.
Yay! Do we love